Chapter 261, Dark Cuisine. First, in the inn, it is forbidden to move swordsmen, and no killing is allowed. Any grievances, even if they kill the father and the enemy, cannot be shot in the inn. If you want to fight, you can go outside the inn. If anyone starts, he will be expelled from the inn and be punished accordingly. Moreover, no matter whether it is any demon or ghost, as long as he enters the inn, he is a guest of Longmen Inn. The inn accepts any guests. Quote. Second, staying in the inn, you have to pay the corresponding price every day, money. When money is not enough to pay the eligibility to stay in the inn, you will be expelled from the inn. When you can pay the price, you can continue to enter the inn. Stay. This money can be replaced by items on your body. Generally, those who can enter the inn are able to pay for the guests who stay. Quote. Thirdly, the inn is not a pawnshop. It is used to serve as a treasure of items. Once paid, it cannot be redeemed. Jin Zuiyu smiled and told the rules in the inn. This is a rule and a rule. No one is allowed to violate. Once violated, obviously, the consequences are quite serious. This can exist from the inn to the present, and the guests in the inn can know the respect of the gold inlaid jade. No need, it is better not to violate the rules of the inn. Okay, your dish is here, enjoy it. If you change your mind, come up to me. I'll wait for you in the room. Then he blinked, his eyes were full of teasing. But for that horrible face. At this moment, in the inn, I was afraid that all men would be burned because of this. Even so, many people still secretly drool. Watching Jin Zhuayu's waist swayed and walked upstairs, the voice of swallowing more in the inn. That face has no tolerance, it's not fake. Yi Tianxing's eyes were slightly condensed. Originally, based on the back to the face, he also guessed whether the gold inlaid jade was Yurong, and put a fake face on his face, but under the eyes of congenital yin and yang, there was no flaw. Zhu Cheng's grasp, that's not fake, it really has this face. It was born. Such a face grows so large that it is conceivable how much pressure she will bear. After all, the eyes of the world like beautiful things, and they hate ugly things, just like ugly and weird. In the crowd, they are born to be rejected, hated by people, turned away for thousands of miles, or even retreated. If you don't associate with it, you are talking about it in the back and talking about it. This kind of pressure is unbearable for ordinary women. Those who can support it must be strong and amazing to the heart. This is also a strange woman. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. Guest, the wine and dishes you ordered have been prepared. At this time, Shower stepped out again, meanwhile, holding a tray in his hand, with 3 dishes covered by a cover on it. Poppy, Shower simply put the wine dishes in front of Yi Tianxing. Look, green lotus frog soup. Reaching out to open a hood, I immediately saw that a dazzling light bloomed directly from the hood, and a fragrant fragrance entered. Seems to spread towards the entire inn. Grunt, nearby guests smelled and swallowed subconsciously. The light converges, you can clearly see that there is a bowl of clear soup in front of you. This bowl of soup is as white as jade, embellished with thumb-sized lotus leaves, floating on it, swaying naturally, and a frog is lying in the clear soup. It seems to be hiding under the lotus leaves. This is clearly a beautiful picture like beauty. In terms of color and fragrance, it can be said to have reached an amazing level. It can make food shine. This skill has been extraordinary and holy, and it will not be inferior to Lai Yisang. Although I don't know how it tastes, judging from the previous 2, I can't find where to go. Yi Tianxing nodded secretly. This green frog soup made him look forward to the dishes behind him. Look at this golden fried rice again. Shower lifted the cover outside the second gourmet again, and a golden light bloomed again. In that light, a golden-colored fried rice appeared in front of the eyes, and the fragrant fragrance made every cell in the body start to activate. Crazy beating, taste buds on the tongue, which secrete water at the outlet quickly. There is already an urge to taste it. Good golden fried rice. Compared with Lai Yi, it should have its own advantages. Yi Tianxing nodded secretly, commenting in his heart. The last copy is Jinyu Mantang. Shower removed the last cover. In the light, you can clearly see that a grain of golden corn and peanuts are shining with brilliant light, bright in color and full in grains, which makes the appetite widen and the irresistible gastronomic flavor penetrates into the body. It has made it impossible for the food cells in the body to restrain the temptation to food. I did not expect such a top-notch cooking skill in a black shop. I thought that the food in the black shop might be things like barbecued pork buns. Now it seems that it is really surprising. Rang Ren, wrong. Yi Tianxing picked up the chopsticks and just wanted to reach out. When he really tasted the food, when he thought of the black shop, he couldn't help but give a hint of vigilance. When he looked around, he saw that most of the guests in the hotel were eating bring-your-own barbecue, wild fruits and things like that. Few people order anything from the inn. There should be reasons why it is too expensive. However, even then, there was a hint of vigilance in my heart. Not to mention, but don't be given a drug, and the medicine will fall down. Then shame to the uncle's house. As soon as the thoughts move, the two eyes become black and white in an instant, the congenital yin and yang eyes move, and the two divine lights flow. When I look at the food in front of me again, Yi Tianxing's face suddenly changed. Where is that delicious food? It's simply dark food. What I saw before was simply a superficial illusion. The true face of food is scalp. First look at the green lotus frog soup. The green lotus is there, floating on it, and the clear soup is also true, but this is not ordinary soup, it is completely made of frog juice crushed by frogs. You can still see a grain of frog meat. It's live fresh meat. Can smell the smell of fresh meat. This is raw frog juice. This is also called green lotus frog soup. Normal people are not brave enough to dare to drink it. Spit it out on the spot. Scary bitter bile. Look at that golden fried rice. It's even more frustrating. Where is the golden fried rice that is seen on the surface? The rice grains are separated. That thing looks like a golden colored shit. It seems quite disgusting, let alone let people eat it. As long as it is a person, a strong resistance is born. At the end of Jin Yumantang, there is no of peanut rice, corn, and there is no grain. The shiny is in it. It looks terrible. It is not disgusting to eat it. What kind of normal food is this? This is exactly a dark meal. Things that normal people do not touch. Now it is made into food and brought to the front. The black shop is really a black shop. Dark cuisine also uses illusions, making people look like a supreme cuisine with a full range of flavors and fragrances. If it weren't for one more heart, these inexplicable things have just been eaten. Yi Tianxing could not help but give birth to a trace of vibration. Dark cuisine, this is the real dark cuisine. Who knew it would be such a good food? However, these things can evoke the strongest desire of the food cells in my body. Is this really food? Suppressing the anger in my heart, when I look at these foods again, my heart starts to calm down. The appearance can deceive people, but the food cells in the body cannot be deceived, especially the previous guests. They must have eaten it, but did not notice how strange. This is obviously unusual. Illusion can deceive vision, and no reason can deceive taste. If so, it would be terrible. If it is the legendary dark cuisine, it can definitely be regarded as the best cuisine. The reason why dark cuisine is rejected in the gourmet world is because their cooking methods are extremely extreme. They put aside all the most orthodox colors and flavors of the cuisine. You can't see the beauty. Under normal circumstances, you can't produce appetite. A little insulting the name of good food will be excluded. But the food industry also needs to admit that the real dark food may not be inferior to the real food. What they have studied is already another cooking path. Explore the limits of cuisine. Anyway, it's not bad to taste it. A few servings of dark food can't scare me. If it's an orthodox dark food, it might bring me a different harvest. Looking at the dark food in front of him, a touch of firmness flashed in Yi Tianxing's eyes. His courage is not so small that he can't even eat a few dark dishes. www.novelhall.com. Taste it first, then it's really bad, just do and eat it. Pick up the spoon and lift the bowl of gruesome green lotus frog soup. After scooping, I can see that there are white meat particles inside. You can still see the frog's head in the bowl, staring brightly at himself. However, for Yi Tianxing, who is already psychologically prepared, this can no longer stop him from tasting. Place the spoon close to your mouth and it gently. The frog juice in the spoon is like jelly. It is easily sucked into the mouth, and a small amount of meat particles enter the mouth. Wrap your tongue around the taste buds. Suddenly, Yi Tianxing's eyes lit up. A trace of nausea in the original heart disappeared instantly and completely disappeared. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 262, Heading 8 Ming. Find Zhang. Close black lens bracket. An indescribable flavor filled the taste buds, which was a very strange feeling. It's an incredible cooking technique. This is definitely not just a simple squeezing of frog juice. It's not raw squeezing, it should be a knife worker. The knife is pure and hot. With a fast knife, the frog is cut into countless pieces in a short period of time. In addition, the knife gas has smashed the internal organs, and all the soft tissues inside have been smashed to allow the water in the frog to penetrate out. This knife is not an ordinary knife. It can retain the smallest meat particles and can be separated. Corresponding moisture, when the knife cuts, all the fishy odors are removed to keep it delicious. There is also a vitality from the frog's body. The fragrance of the lotus leaf is really incredible. This is really true dark cuisine, but still has the delicious taste of food. Just that anger and tenderness can overcome any nausea. It makes people appetite. Quote, Yi Tianxing closed his eyes and realized the delicious taste of this frog juice silently. It's a very different kind of enjoyment. Without hesitation, took the spoon and drank it bit by bit. Every cell in the body was groaning cheerfully. Looks unusually excited. Shi Ding Mingji also exhilarates, and instantly consumes the essence of food. On the food tripod, a frog pattern came to life. Shi Ding quickly refined the essence and spewed out a gas of gastronomy, quickly dissipating towards every inch of flesh and blood in the body. Gourmet cells are greedily absorbing the power of cuisine. Become extremely excited, naturally began to draw the vitality of heaven and earth into the flesh and blood. Physical strength is beginning to skyrocket again. This rate of growth is staggering. Ding ding ding. Suddenly, the black tripod in the flesh trembled frantically, one after another, the sounds of the tripod sounded, gathered together densely, and an invisible sound wave penetrated the flesh, shattered the bones, and reunited the flesh and bones. In fact, it has become more powerful. The flesh was washed again. The precious light on the skin can be clearly seen, and the tough knives cannot be easily torn and cut. Hey Ming Ba Ming, 80,000 pounds of force traveled through the flesh. The blood in Dingzong was so strong that it seemed like a little sun. Blazing, the power of qi and blood, released just to the sun, is like a huge stove. The power of rage is a powerful and unmatched feeling. It seemed that a small hill was in front of him, and he could smash with a fist. After reaching the strength of 80,000 kilograms, the increase in physical strength has not stopped, and he is still arrogantly spitting the vitality of the world, refining the essence of gourmet food, turning it into nutrients, and strengthening the physical skeletal meridians. When all of the green lotus frog soup is consumed, it can increase the strength by no less than 3 kilograms at a time. You know, this is already quite remarkable. The stronger the physical strength, the more difficult it is to increase it again. The more you go up, the harder it is to increase. In the past, a meal can add thousands of pounds of power. Now it can increase the number. 100 caddies is not bad. However, this frog soup caused the power to skyrocket by thousands of pounds. This magnitude is quite amazing. Dark cuisine has such a great effect on the gourmet cells. Good things, really good things. Although the cooking methods are unique, they may not be considered top cuisine. Yi Tianxing secretly rejoiced. Now he eats the food cooked by Lai He. As long as it is not new, if he eats it, he will not have much power. Dark cuisine can make food cells so excited. It can be seen that the skills and even the taste are second to none. It is amazing. Make food cells crazy. I don't know how the other two dark dishes can change me. At this moment, Yi Tianxing couldn't help but expect a little. For the power of its own growth, the appearance of dark cuisine can be thrown aside, which is not worth mentioning at all. Looking at the share of golden fried rice. Don't say it just looks like shit, even if it is really shit, he still dares to eat it. Pick up the spoon and stir up a spoonful of fried rice. Said to be fried rice, the method is not fried at all, but egg yolk bibimbap. Just simply break the eggs and stir them together with the rice to make the whole stack wet, and there seems to be a golden liquid dripping down. Seeing makes people secretly tremble. This thing is really similar. Dark cuisine, really dark cuisine. Take a deep breath without thinking about it, and send the spoonful of rice to the mouth. As soon as I ate it, a strange feeling appeared on the taste buds and passed to every cell in the body. How is it possible? What kind of method is this that can achieve such a point? No matter how fried rice, there will be a kind of fireworks after frying, but in this portion of rice, only the fragrance of eggs, silky, the softness of rice, in particular, in the egg rice, it is possible to penetrate the taste of salt, so that the rice does not lose its taste in the light, and there is a trace of sweetness of the egg. There is no need to chew it. Once it is in the mouth, it will sliding down the throat into the esophagus. Quote. This feeling, really want to stop. The raw eggs that have not been fried are still alive. They are fused with the heat of the rice. Their nutritional value is richer and more amazing. There are other methods in it, but I cannot taste them. Absolutely not. Only you can do it just by mixing the raw eggs with rice. Moreover, this is not an ordinary egg, and the aura contained in it keeps the raw eggs from having any fishy smell. Excluding the ridiculous appearance, this is indeed the top food. Quote. He couldn't stop at all, and spooned the rice into the mouth. The gourmet cells in the body play a role again, and Shi Ding Mingju works. Let the physical strength of the body begin to soar again. Between each breath, there are tens of pounds and hundreds of pounds of power surge. Keep going. Every cell in the body emits a sense of joy. Interesting, his temperament has changed when he eats dark food. What's going on? Jin Zhuangyu reappeared on the second floor, watching Yi Tianxing taste those dark dishes, and he couldn't help but be shocked, because when he took the first one, he felt that the air machine on Yi Tianxing seemed to appear. Change and become more full-bodied. Of course, this change would be almost imperceptible without careful observation. Eating food can change, which makes Jin Zuyu's interest in Yi Tianxing become stronger. It has added more than 2,000 pounds of physical power. This process of continuous transformation and evolution is really irresistible. Let me try this ***** shell again. Thinking, Yi Tianxing can't help twitching. What is shit shell lang? It's a worm that rolls dung ***** and eats dung **** all day. Under normal circumstances, no one is willing to taste this thing. Click, pick up a **** shell with chopsticks and put it in your mouth. As soon as the teeth are bitten, they are crushed very crisply. The shell is like peanuts, but the meat inside is as crisp as corn. It tastes crispy with peanuts and crispy with corn. The high-protein scent resounds in the mouth. Really endless aftertaste. Wonderful to the extreme. Gourmet cells are once again alive. A large amount of heaven and earth vitality is naturally incorporated into the flesh and bones. These heaven and earth vitality seem to be taken up by the gourmet cells directly from nothing. Coupled with the essence of gourmet cuisine absorbed by refining. Let the flesh metamorphose again. A shell man was quickly picked up and thrown into the mouth. Chew, chew, and swallow. A plate of shells was swept up in a moment. Gourmet cells are still shaking with excitement. A steady stream of qi and blood came out. The physical strength soared by thousands of pounds again. Reached a level of terror of 87,000 pounds. Not far from Heiding Juming. According to the records of refining exercises, once the Heiding Juming is reached, the refining of the refining exercises will undergo a great transformation, and a physical power will be bred. Let the physical body exert its destructive power. At that time, it was the real transformation. Can fully exert the power of the body. Fierce. It is not far away from that kind of transformation. It really is an alternative enjoyment. Alternative cuisine. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath, and then he exhaled a long spit, saying with emotion. Although there are only 3 servings of dark cuisine, in the eyes of other monks, it may be just 3 more delicious cuisines, which can be used on Yi Tianxing, but it is a shortcut to become stronger. If there are still a few dark dishes, the refining of the body training will be able to break through immediately. Would you like to order more dark dishes? Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. If he now calls for dark food and eats it, once he breaks through, Heiding Juming is definitely not comparable to the previous one, and it will definitely produce a lot of visions. In this inn, it is obviously not wise choice. Secondary, give me a few more dishes from your inn. Yi Tianxing lowered his chopsticks and said again. Come, guest officer. The second man didn't know where he came from, www.novelhall.com. He came to Yi Tianxing with great pride, looked at him with a smile, and said, the guest officer likes the food in our hotel. That's me. The inn is honored, but before you continue to order, you have to ask the guest official to pay off the money for these 3 dishes before serving the guest. This is also the rule of our inn. Quote. There was a hint of threat on his face. If you don't give money, don't blame him for being rude. Imperceptibly gives people a pressure. Oh, I don't know what your longmen inn will use to pay your bills, energy spar. Yi Tianxing heard, looked at him calmly, and said. I already knew in my heart that if longmen inn used to measure prices as a currency, it is most likely spar. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 263, Longmen Trading. Remember in a second, to provide you with wonderful novel reading. The spar contains energy, the vitality of the heavens and the earth, and is quite pure. The higher the grade of the spar, the more refined the heaven and the earth, whether it is for the beast, other races, or humans, they all have great benefits. They can speed up their own cultivation, become stronger faster, and grow up. Such things are needed by everyone, and it is the easiest currency to become. It is quite normal for trading. The spar mines are distributed throughout the eternal continent, and it is not difficult to dig them out. These factors have increased the possibility of spar becoming a currency countless times. Yi Tianxing doesn't think Longmen In has the ability to issue another currency. This most popular spar is the most likely to become currency in circulation. The guest official really noticed everything, and the Longmen In really uses spar as the currency to calculate the value. There should be a lot of spar in the guest official's hand, and it must be able to afford the price of just the food. Xiao heard it and smiled even more brilliantly. Spar is a good thing. The inn needs spar daily to run better, which helps them cultivate. There are many benefits. How many spar do these dishes need? Yi Tianxing asked calmly. These 3 dishes are all signature dishes of my Longmen Inn, and they are even made by top chefs. As you have seen before, each one is full of color and fragrance. The most rare food in the world. The value of food is naturally not it will be cheap. Xiao grinned. The taste is okay, but the color and fragrance may not be first rate, maybe it is disgusting. Yi Tianxing said a meaningful socket. When Xiao heard this, he couldn't help but secretly startled. He was human, he couldn't hear it, there was something in it, and he was secretly surprised. Did he really see through the illusion above and saw the true colors of those things? Still he was cheating. This is remarkable. Until now, no one has been able to see the true colors of the inn's cuisine. The guest officer laughed. Everything has been eaten by you, you can't help but admit it. Otherwise, my inn is not a display. The smile on Xiao's face had disappeared, with a sternness in his words. The act of deceiving customers is not the behavior of a good inn, because this one is a black shop. Yi Tianxing questioned indifferently. Xiao Wang, give him 20% off. Jin Zuyu said quietly upstairs. Yes, madam, Wang Xiao heard, respectfully agreed, and said, 3 signature dishes are of the same price, 1 serving is 100 black iron grade spar. The 3 servings are 300. The boss said, 20% off. Even if you have 240 spar. Please pay the bill. Quote. A dark dish requires 100 spar. This price, wherever it is placed, is astronomical, very outrageous. Even the elixir is not so expensive. For Yi Tianxing, these spar are not expensive, but for ordinary as far as monks are concerned, this is quite high, and it may not be able to be taken out from the body. Definitely quite dark. I don't have spar, but I can use this to pay. It won't be inferior to spar. Yi Tianxing smiled, and didn't talk much about it. With a wave of hands, every golden eternal coin fell on the table. No more, no less, 80 on the table. In front of my eyes, flashes of golden light from time to time. The eternity above, Xuanlong's ancient style font directly reflects into the eyes. What is this? Coins. What kind of currency is this and how has it never been seen? Is it a currency of a certain world before? It looks beautiful. Jin Chanchan, like gold coins, is minted from gold. If it is real gold, it is not worth it here. Where can it be compared with spar? The guests who were observing in the surroundings could not help expressing their curiosity and arguing. No, it is eternal coin. This is eternal coin from Xuanlong town. I have seen that this eternal coin is very magical. It can not only be traded, but also contains the pure vitality of the world. It can also triple its own cultivation. The power of increase. With this increase, an eternal coin can last a whole day. It is really incredible. Who is this that can pay out the eternal coin? Quote. Suddenly, someone opened his mouth and made a noise. Recognize the origin of eternal coin. I also personally experienced the magic of eternal coin. In addition, although the heaven and earth vitality contained in the eternal coin is slightly inferior to a black iron grade spar, it is also similar. In addition, it can also increase the practice speed by 3 times. Its exquisiteness is like top art. All give intangible value, one can be equivalent to 3 black iron grade spar, which is definitely worth it. Eternal coin. Jin Zuyu didn't know when it had appeared and walked down. Pick up a golden eternal coin from the table. Looking at the exquisite patterns on it, and the heavy weight and golden light, all make people love from the heart. The moment he took it in his hand, Jin Zuyu also instinctively gave birth to a touch of love. Fell back and forth. This kind of currency, like art, fell in love with it at first glance. Moreover, you can feel the vitality of heaven and earth contained in eternal coins. Although it is slightly inferior to spar, it can be absorbed, but it is extremely easy. Without impurities, plus its own spiritual growth rate, the value completely surpasses spar. Good thing, is this eternal coin. It really is exquisitely beautiful, and people can't put it down. It has been said that Xuanwang Town has issued a currency called Eternal Coin, but I have never had the opportunity to see it in person. Better than spar. Your surname is easy. It is said that the owner of Xuanwang Town is the surname of Yi. If you can get the Eternal Coin, you are the owner of Xuanwang Town. Quote. A pair of beautiful gold mosaic jade waves waved softly, saying softly. Longmen Inn is not too far away from Xuanwang Town. In addition, outsiders have gathered in Xuanwang Town. Some of them have already set off and entered the inn. It is not difficult to know some news. The inn itself has business intelligence. It is natural to carefully collect some valuable information nearby. From many aspects, Yi Tianxing's identity has been keenly discovered. This is of course based on the fact that Yi Tianxing has not made any concealment. Whether these eternal coins can be traded here, Yi Tianxing did not answer directly, but asked. Of course, Jin Zhuangyu said with a smile. Just according to your estimation method, the exchange ratio with the spar is 1 to 3, and 1 eternal coin can be exchanged for 3 black iron spar. I do and know how much you can take eternal coin. I can exchange treasure with you. Quote. In words, it is clear that you want to get eternal coins in large quantities, rather than now, with a small amount. The quantity is too small to have real value to her. There aren't too many spar in Longmen Inn. Yi Tianxing's mind suddenly appeared in his mind, and a keen message came out. Although spar can become a commonly used transaction, it may not be as simple as obtaining it. Finding the veins of the minerals, but also digging. In a short time today, unless it is a powerful force, otherwise, it is impossible in a short time. Get a lot of spar. The guests in the inn couldn't get it out, and only used treasures as collateral. Just use spar to measure its value. Without the corresponding quantity, spar cannot circulate here. This is the reason why gold inlaid jade saw that he took out the eternal coin and immediately attached importance to it, hoping to obtain it in large quantities. In particular, eternal coins are more in line with human recognition and aesthetics of coins. Yi Tianxing's mind was quickly turning with various thoughts, and then he laughed. I have a lot of eternal coins, but they are not unlimited. Whether you can get eternal coins from me depends on whether you can get the treasure that makes me heart. Quote. This may be an opportunity to promote eternal coin and expand its influence. Please talk carefully with me on the second floor. Jin Zhuangyu said with a smile. Please. Yi Tianxing stood up and promised. The two walked up the second floor. The guests below saw with suspicion in their eyes. Various thoughts came into my heart secretly. The conversation between the two did not hide the others, and many people heard it in person. The message contained in it is not simple at all. Maybe the currency in the inn will be replaced by eternal currency. Maybe they will have access to eternal coins. They hunt and kill fierce beasts, obtain elixir treasures and so on. They are mortgaged in the inn and they keep accounts. The spar does not get much. If you have enough eternal coins, you can get eternal coins as reward. That significance is too great. This inn is different treasure. There is a good treasure in simplicity. There is no amusement in all kinds of buildings. Go down the stairs and go up to the second floor. At a table, www.novelhall.com, sat down with each other. Although my Longmen Inn is an inn, it also deals in all kinds of information trading. If Mr. Yi comes, if there is no guess, I am afraid that it is for the nearby treasure-rich land, and the phoenix will not fall into a treasure-free land. The Dragon Gate is only in the situation the information within 100 miles of the neighborhood can be said that Longmen Inn is well known, and I have a map on it that not only has the fastest and safest route to the place of heavy treasure, but also marks the active area of nearby powerful beasts. According to the map shows that as long as you don't provoke powerful fierce beasts, you can smoothly reach the treasure land. Quote. Jin Zuyu blinked and said with a smile. Longmen Inn is very powerful in gathering information. As early as when the phoenix landed, it was already drawing this map to collect all kinds of information. The value of the map is absolutely no small matter. Although the map is good, it is not of much value to me. It is not enough to impress me. I want to go forward, and with my own strength, I can reach my destination. Yi Tianxing shook his head and refused. Although maps are valuable, they are not indispensable. Mobile users please browse and read for a better reading experience. Chapter 264, Spirit Circle. For subscription recommendations, come with tickets. Burning Library. He didn't think he couldn't even reach the treasure land, and what maps were needed. Although, the real value of the map is not to go to the place of heavy treasure, but to map out the distribution of various beasts. But these things are not enough to move Yi Tianxing. He refused without any hesitation. There was a touch of strange color in Jin Zuyu's eyes, and he didn't mention the map again. He continued, "Since you don't want the map, I can only use treasures. I have an item that can increase the power of any power. I wonder if you are interested." Quote, "Tell me about it," Yi Tianxing said curiously. Dueling Array Map. Jin Zuyu waved his hands and took out a pair of scrolls. An ancient and mysterious texture emerged from that scroll. Array Map. Yi Tianxing was startled in his heart, his face could not help but move slightly. This psychic array is an extremely precious treasure, the first book bred by heaven and earth, which contains small psychic arrays, medium-sized polyforms, large psychic arrays, and innate psychic arrays. The inscriptions on the formations, the refining of formations, and so on are all readily available. As long as they are obtained, a small gathering of spiritual spirits is enough to bring a regional aura to converge. It's incalculable. I don't know how you feel about this strange treasure. Quote, Jin Zuyu explained with a smile. A spiritual gathering can transform a barren land into a spiritual land, not to mention other large spiritual gatherings, or even innate spiritual gatherings, which can reverse the vitality of the heavens and the earth and transform them into innate power. Formation. Its value is even more inestimable. Of course, it is definitely not as simple as talking about it. How much eternal coin do you want? Yi Tianxing's heart is really very enthusiastic. When such a map is brought back and laid out, the strength of Xuanwang Town will greatly increase. At least the cultivation speed will skyrocket, and the cultivation of people in the town will accelerate. This is a shortcut to growing strength, a powerful heritage of power. You see how much this psychic array is worth. You can make an offer. Jin Zhuangyu threw the question back directly. Obviously, it is also known that whoever bids will fall behind, and the scope of bargaining will be smaller. The less benefit you get. Juliangjun is really good, its value is huge, but my eternal coin is not blown by the wind. Besides, this is only a map. To arrange the array method, you need various natural treasures, even refining. A special formation. I can't give too high a price. 50,000 eternal coins. Quote. After Yi Tianxing groaned slightly, he said, "There is no doubt that Juliangjun is not only this one. It must have printed other maps in the hands of Jin Zuyu. Now it is trading more by itself, and it is possible to trade the same map with others in an instant." Under the measurement, the price of 50,000 pieces was finally given. This is still to see that this volume is the original map, and it is a treasure treasured by heaven and earth. Otherwise, he wouldn't even give the price. Jin Zhuangyu shook her head and said, "The price is too low. You must know that the formation method is extremely precious. Once it is arranged, it can bring a force to take off. There is also an innate conspiracy formation map. The price is 10 yuan. Thousands of eternal coins." Quote. In words, he politely raised the price to the level of sky-high prices. For the price, there is no concession. Indeed, she has more than one copy of the Julian array. She has printed many copies when she gets it. The content is the same. As long as she has a chance, she will sell it to other people, but this does not affect Julian array. The value of the bitmap. The value of knowledge is extremely precious. It is impossible, I can give up to 51,000. Eternal coins need to consume a lot of rare materials to mint, even containing pure wish beads. The ratio of value to spar is 1 to 3, I feel a loss. Not even my Xuanwang town has been fully popularized, each one is extremely precious, and the value of Juliangjun is not so high. Quote. Yi Tianxing flatly refused. 90,000 pieces, can't be less. The sooner dueling array is arranged, the greater the benefits will be, and the knowledge is priceless. Jin Zhuangyu frowned slightly and said again. On the spot, the two began to fight again. Prices are constantly changing. In the end, Yi Tianxing frowned slightly and said, 60,000 pieces, even if there is one more, I won't ask for it anymore. This transaction will be cancelled. He really did not want to add more to this thing. Spend 1 eternal coin. Although its value is indeed high, it is not alone, and it may not be available in the future. Closing. This book of jeweling array is yours. You can verify it carefully. When Jin Zhuangyu heard it, she smiled, and nodded her head straight. The scroll was held in the hand, and the wordless Tianshu in the body immediately brought its history to mind. This is the original, and it is also a treasure created by heaven and earth. The meaning itself is different. The layout methods of various maps are very complete and incomplete. After receiving the information, he did not hesitate to enter the Hongmengtiandi Tower, and on the surface, no verification was done. Gold inlaid saw a strange color flashing. Wow! Between the waves, eternal coins are constantly appearing, falling on the table. Stacked up, just like a golden hill, no more, no less, 60,000 eternal coins, shining with golden light, making people's eyes reflect golden. The eyes of gold inlaid gold also reflected golden. Such small money is really irresistible. Like Yi Tianxing, there was no inventory. With a wave of her hand, 60,000 eternal coins disappeared and disappeared. Obviously, in her hands, she also had space treasures that could store items. During this time, Yi Tianxing's minting of eternal coins never stopped. Not only the magic rosary is cast, even the pure wish beads are also cast, plus the original ones. All are minted into eternal coins. A large number of eternal coins are also circulating in the town of Shangfang. In addition, the amount of eternal coins in Yi Tianxing's hands is not much, only about 100,000. Taking out 60,000 pieces at a time has already been regarded as a nuisance, but the money tree has not yet absorbed enough energy of the world, completely transformed into golden yellow, and harvested the first batch of money. It must be used sparingly. Yi Daoyu is really refreshing. However, I still have a treasure here, and you must be interested in it. Gold inlaid jade showed interest and wanted to keep up the effort to get more eternal coins. The more coins, the smoother the operation of the inn. This is a good thing, she naturally wants to get more. What is it? Yi Tianxing asked with curiosity. Just look at it. Jin Zuyu smiled mysteriously, waved his hand, took out an item, and placed it in front of him. Fort. Yi Tianxing's face changed. Shen Sheng said. It can be seen that Jin Zuyu brought out a turret. This turret looked like a platform, but it was more than that. On the turret, a dark cannon stood. On this cannon, various ancient and mysterious magic patterns emerge, which outline the rhyme of the law. When people see the dark hole, they have a terrible feeling facing the bottomless abyss. Seems to die at any time, and to fall at any time. This statue is the magic crystal cannon. Moreover, this is not a magic crystal cannon cast by an ordinary alchemist, but a strange treasure bred from heaven and earth. Potential. As long as it grows up, even if it is powerful, it will be bombarded with one shot. Any force, if it is defended by such a weapon of war, can become greatly strengthened. The deterrent is extremely strong. When cultivated, it can destroy the world. Quote. Jin Zuyu said with a smile. This is not a magic crystal cannon cast by the day after tomorrow, but a strange treasure bred by heaven and earth. Its value can be increased countless times. Such a defensive treasure, no one would dislike. The amount of possession in his hands would be too much. I don't know how many eternal coins the boss wants to buy. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and said slowly, www.novelhall.com, both of them understand people and both know the value of the magic crystal cannon. The high value depends on the status of their respective hearts. The magic crystal cannon has great potential, but when it is in question, it is now only a yellow-tiered treasure. It takes a lot of resources to cultivate it. These will change in the future. Potential is ultimately potential. It cannot be taken as the ultimate value. I don't want too many magic crystal cannons, 100,000 eternal coins. Jin Zhuangyu said this time without shirk. It's too high. I won't tell you anything. Although this magic crystal cannon is a different treasure, the different treasure is not priceless. The potential is just an intangible value. I can't give it for a defense against a different treasure. A lot of eternal coins. Quote. Yi Tianxing suddenly stood up and had no plans to continue talking. Although the magic crystal cannon is precious, Xuanwang Town also has 4 defense towers, 2 magic towers, and 2 arrow towers. Their value, power, and potential are not inferior to the magic crystal cannon. Although precious, it is not indispensable. Jin Zhuangyu saw and smiled, but did not stop. Baby in hand, no worries, will not sell. With the previous 60,000 eternal coins, it is enough to support the operation of the inn. Zongbao was born and the situation gathered. I don't know how many interesting people will come to the inn. Gold inlaid jade shows a meaningful look. I really have an inn. Why can't I see people outside? It's kind of doorway. Shower, serve me wine and food. Yi Tianxing returned to the first floor, and a burly figure came in from the door. It was a monk with a ring knife on his waist, a handy shovel, and a huge string of beads on his neck. As soon as he came in, he glanced around, stared with a big stare, and yelled. Although surprised, he found a table indifferently, and shouted when he sat down. The sound was thunderous, tumbling, flooding the inn. Chapter 265, Overlord Meal. Good monk. Burning library. The rest of the inn couldn't help but secretly admire in his heart. This momentum is really quite good and very sturdy. Even if Yi Tianxing couldn't help but admire it secretly, he was indeed a good monk, but the big monk who yelled to drink and eat meat was really special. Unabashedly, this is a wine and meat monk. There is still evil spirit in the body, and it is impossible to say that the blood in his hand is a lot. Who is this person? The monk with wine and meat is not weak, but I am afraid that there is no less than the 5th and 6th cultivation of strength in the Shanghai realm. I can have such a good cultivation at this time, the original identity. It shouldn't be simple. What kind of world is the strongman who merged from it? Quote. Yi Tianxing groaned secretly. Monks who drink and eat meat really need to be counted. I don't know how many there are in the world. If you can guess at a glance, it would be too nonsense. Who is it? You need to take a closer look. Come, guest officer. Shower Li stepped forward, wiped the table, and said, I don't know what wine and food the guest officer needs. If you have any good wine and good food here, bring it to me. Vegetables, I want meat dishes, cut me beef, 30 pounds of cooked beef first. The wine and meat monk shouted loudly, placing the convenience shovel in front of him. Gaze around. Well, waiter, wait a minute, wine and vegetables will come soon. Primary 2 heard and immediately agreed to walk to the backyard. When guests saw it, they also showed their expressions when they saw Yi Tianxing. Before long, the second child appeared again. Holding the tray, on top of it, a large cover was placed, and the other hand was holding a wine jar. Guok, here is the beef and wine you want. The wine is the finest daughter red. The cooked beef is made from the meat of a flaming fire cow. Please taste it slowly. Shower briefly introduced. After a moment, the hood opened, the light flowed, and it was another top food. Only the finest cuisine can make the heaven and earth vitality inspire such a vision. Good beef. The wine and meat monk saw that his eyes were round, and his face was overjoyed, and he sang loudly. The glowing beef, this is the first time he has encountered it, it is absolutely supreme cuisine, the highest enjoyment. These beef pieces have been cut into pieces, piece by piece, as long as they are clamped with chopsticks, it looks fresh and delicious. Appetite is greatly increased. Sure enough, the taste is strange, the colors and aromas are all inside, the taste and the halogen materials are completely penetrated. Not only is the taste delicious, but also so chewy, it is incredible. The number of beef eaten is countless, and it has never been eaten so uniquely. If I see a and eat it later, how can I let the monk live? The monk with wine and meat was also kind, and he ate it with the beef. Yi Tianxing saw that the corner of his mouth was twitching. On the surface, it looks like beef, but the real food is a piece of cow buttocks and shit. After processing, it is cut into pieces. If you know this, normal people are generally hard to eat. There is a taboo and aversion to instinct. In this way, there is no way to eat. It's really a dark shop, dark food, dare to cook anything that is disgusting, and dare to make food, and bring it to the guests. It also makes people do not know what it is. However, it is also a happiness. Yi Tianxing watched the wine and meat monk relishing the cow chrysanthemum with gusto, his mouth twitched, but he didn't open his mouth to remind him. There are a lot of things, at least this thing can be eaten, and besides being a dark dish, it does taste very good. Good wine, it really is the finest daughter red. I'm afraid that the treasure has been collected for more than 10 years. The wine and meat monk opened the mud seal, drank it, and the wine continued to fall into the belly. Even a trace of the liquor left by the mouth licked back without hesitation. Good wine and good food. It's really good. It's been so good for a long time. This Longmen Inn is really good. The wine and meat monk sighed with satisfaction and sighed. Kaiguan, I don't know if this wine and food meets the taste of the Kakeguan, and you can eat it satisfactorily. Shower came to the wine and meat monk again and asked. Of course I'm satisfied. The wine and meat monk nodded and said. This is not a lie, and indeed I feel very satisfied. Okay, then please pay the guest officer. Shower said with a smile. A daughter of 15 years read, 100 spar, a plate of cooked beef, 100 spar, add up to 200 pieces, staying at the inn for 1 day, need 10 spar, insufficient spar, expelled from the inn. Add up to 210 spar, of course, you can also pay with eternal coins, only 70 eternal coin. Quote. What spar? The monk of eternal coin has heard of it in Xuanwang town, but there is no way to get it. Besides, your price is too expensive. Why not just a little wine and a plate of beef? I really think it is gold. Did you do it? You are a black shop, The old monk drank alcohol and used gold and silver to pay the bill. Today I used a piece of gold to pay the bill. I am not eating overlord meals. Quote. When the wine and meat monk heard it, he immediately blew it up, and jumped up politely, and patted a piece of gold on the table with a wave of his hand. Black shops, such black shops, he will not yield. Passing by in Xuanwang town, he knew the preciousness of the spar and eternal coin. They were all treasures that could greatly help the monks. They ate so much in one meal. This is not what a black shop is. The monk will never give in. It is quite interesting to give a piece of gold. Who dares to say that he eats white food and eats overlord meals? The guests all around saw that there was a twitch on their cheeks, and they used gold to pay their bills. This monk was really interesting. Saying he eats overlord meal really isn't considered to be true. Saying no, it's not gold or silver used to pay bills here. For the monks, what is the difference between dung and dirt is worthless. The value of gold and silver has not been recognized, but it can be justified. Gold and silver were the mainstream currencies in many worlds before. It is the former currency. Recognized by his former value. Pay for current items with previous currency. This makes people feel confused. Even the second child saw that his face became quite weird. He was talking about using spar and eternal currency to pay the bill, but this monk actually used gold and silver to pay the bill. Isn't this provocation? It was unbearable. Are you provoking me to Longmen Inn? Shower's eyes flashed, his face looked coldly at the monk. Why, can't I be black as my monk? Are you ready to grab it now? Do you really think that I will be afraid of you? The wine and meat monk glanced, yelling and stood up. There are many signs of being ready to start. Monks are not afraid of things. Longmen Inn, it is forbidden to kill, and it is forbidden to move the sword. Whoever violates it, suppress it. Jin Zuyu stood on the second floor, looked down calmly, and slowly uttered a voice. Boom. As her voice fell, she suddenly saw that from the Longmen Inn, a powerful force was passed without warning, poured down, crushed down, and shrouded the wine and meat monk. Click. At this moment, the face of the wine and meat monk changed. He felt the irresistible power transmitted in the space outside him, as if the whole space was repelling him, crushing it down, as if there were mountains suppressing him. All of his body is bent, even a trace of movement is difficult, the body is difficult to move, as if the body has been confined and bound by countless shackles. How can this happen? Why can't the monk move? What kind of inn is this? A black shop, this must be a black shop. The wine and meat monk felt the change outside his face, and his face did not change greatly on the spot. He couldn't even lift his arm, and his body was under heavy pressure. Oh, the wine and meat monk spit out a loud drink. There was a burst of violent blood on the body, the muscles under the skin shuttled like a dragon, and the body shook, and it seemed that the space that bound itself was directly broken and shaken away. Boom. But this outbreak just made a fierce and dull noise from the air. www.novelhall.com. I also wanted to resist, it was a daydream. When you enter the inn, you must observe the rules of the inn and eat overlord meals in the inn, not to mention that you are a wine and meat monk, and even if you are Tianwang lousy, you must pay the money obediently. Quote. Shower saw that the monk still wanted to resist, holding his hands, the bone between his fingers made a crisp and fierce crackling sound. Gathered together, people secretly trembled. Someone is going to be wiped out again. Is this normal? The previous one was not normal at all, and even took out the eternal coin and was valued by the boss lady. It is likely to be the owner of Xuanwang town. See if this monk doesn't even have left. It's so interesting. Others in the inn saw gloating expressions. They have encountered this situation more or less before, and now when they see others suffering, their hearts are naturally joyous, and joy is originally based on others' pain. Well, you dare to cut off your monk's clothes. You can kill them without shame. You have the ability to let me go, fight duel, and share your life and death. The court was so crowded that he was going to be burned out. He felt ashamed to go out to meet people in the future. I never expected this inn to be so scary. Not only black shops, but also people. He didn't have any temper. A terrible prohibition. No one can offend the majesty of the inn without paying a price. Shower said with a sneer. If the Longmen Inn has no strength, dare to open a black shop, and dare to set rules to prevent the swordsman from moving in the inn. This inn itself is a treasure. As long as it violates the rules, it will be suppressed. Unless it can break the inn of the inn, otherwise it's dragon who must lie on his back. This is a capability that comes with the inn. At least in Shanghai, there are very few who can break free. Chapter 266, True and False Monk. Remember in 1 second at Bai Ku Zhe Zhonghui and Wang. To provide you with exciting novel reading. For subscription recommendation, a monthly pass comes. Close black lens bracket. Wow, Shower's technique is very skillful. Obviously, more than one person has been picked, and his clothes have been picked off instantly. In a blink of an eye, the wine and meat monk became clean and slick all over his body, leaving only a pair of underpants, a large Buddha on his neck, a handy shovel in his hand, and a ring knife on his waist. Nothing was left for him. Just this thing, dare to come over to eat the overlord meal. Get out of me. Shower disdainfully grabbed the arms of the wine and meat monk and threw it out towards the inn. Thump, a gourd-like sound came out of the inn, accompanied by a cry of pain. However, the wine and meat monk did not rush into the inn. Slap, many of the guests in the inn had their hearts in mind and laughed secretly. At the door of the inn, a tall figure stepped in. When I looked up to see this figure, the guests who were laughing in the inn suddenly had a dull expression on their faces, and the laughter was dumb, but their expressions were weird, some couldn't believe it, even the eyes were surprised, dropped down. Even after Yi Tianxing saw it, his face couldn't help showing surprise. How could it be? Not a secret murmur in my heart. Is there anything wrong? And another one. No, it looks exactly the same. Is the wine and meat monk thrown out? He changed his clothes and re-entered. This appearance, this figure, this convenient shovel, ring knife, Buddha, all are exactly the same. Is there an illusion in my eyes? Who appeared before the inn? Is it twins? Twins are not so similar. The guest at the inn murmured in surprise. Each of his chins fell down. Shocked, even the second child opened his mouth subconsciously, and looked at the wine and meat monk in front of him in a daze. Yes, the wine and meat monk who had just been thrown in came in. Even the clothes, dress, weapons, all of them were exactly the same, there was no difference at all, which made Shower feel that he had just hallucinated. Secondary, serve and serve, bring in the cut beef. The wine and meat monk stared and shouted loudly. Okay, okay, Shower woke up in the shout. Looking at the wine and meat monk, it seems that this is really the first time he has entered the inn. He has not experienced the process of being burned out before. At the same time, he has a subconscious response. A weird look at the wine and meat monk. I don't know if this is the one that just came in. If not, it's even more weird. This strange thing was the first time he had encountered it. Scratching his head, he walked towards the backyard. The gold-inlaid jade upstairs could not help but frown slightly, looking at the wine monk with strangeness. Yi wrong, there are other weird magical powers. Who is real and who is fake? Is it really the first time to come in or pretend? It is really interesting. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and his eyes narrowed slightly, secretly turning thoughts in my heart. The subconscious movement of congenital yin and yang eyes glanced at the wine and meat monk. I didn't expect such a change before. I just looked at the dark dish with my eyes, but didn't pay attention to the wine and meat monk. If you pay close attention, you may see some clues. Congenital yin and yang eyes looked at the monk with wine and meat. It was found in him that there was an evil spirit, a strong Buddha nature, and it was indeed a human being, and he could not see any signs of persuasion. It is true. Unfortunately, the previous one was not carefully investigated. Yi Tianxing shook his head slightly and muttered to himself. It's really surprising that such interesting things can be encountered. Guest, your wine and meat are ready, please enjoy. Shower once again brought up a piece of wine and meat, the same thing as the previous wine and meat monk, is also cooked beef, 15-year-old daughter read. How can you drink just one serving of beef? Shower, you can get me another copy of Jinyu Mantang. I'll send it here, and I'll ask the monk, you won't mind giving the bowl of wine. Yi Tianxing stood up, came across from the wine and meat monk, and sat down. Since this brother is interested, how can I refuse the monk, just because it is too boring for a person to drink? It is natural to have a brother who wants to be together. As long as I don't dislike the monk, I don't respect the Buddha or fast. The wine and meat monk heard, looked at Yi Tianxing, and laughed. Guests around Yi Tianxing saw sitting there and looked back one by one. It was impossible for him to see the monk being thrown out again. Added a pair of tableware. The monk was also very angry, patted the altar, and poured a large bowl of wine for Yi Tianxing. I poured a large bowl myself. Greetings. I don't know your brothers or your surname. My name is Lu Zishan, because I don't want to drink meat, don't kill, don't call Buddha, and don't meditation. Many people call me a monk. If you want to, just call me anything. This monk is very hardy and has no intention of seeing anything. My surname is Yi Tianxing. When he heard the monk's words, Yi Tianxing was secretly surprised. Lu Zishan, the lonely star in the leech, turned out to be a flower monk, but he was unexpectedly surprised. Who is Lu Zishan? As long as he speaks out, few people don't know. Although he was a flower monk, drinking alcohol and eating meat, killing and setting fire, he has done everything, but he has to say that he has an amazing Buddhist character like a monk. The path he took was to kill Buddha. There is a poem, he does not cultivate good fruits in his life, but only loves killing and setting fire. Suddenly the golden rope was broken, and the jade lock was broken here. What? A letter from the tide on the Qiantang River came, and today I knew I was me. This is true temperament, and what you do comes from your own nature. Envious of hatred, he didn't tell anyone to put down the butcher knife, but he just picked up the knife and swept away the evil in front of him and slaughtered the injustice in front of him. Calm the injustice in my heart. For such a flower monk, Yi Tianxing was very impressed. Even if he kills and sets fire, compared with some monks who are superficially compassionate and don't know what they are doing, they don't know how many times they are noble. Well, Brother Yi, did this bowl. Lu Ji said with a big smile and holding up the big bowl. Yi Tianxing didn't hesitate, took the big bowl in front of him with a smile, opened his mouth and drank the aged wine in the bowl. His daughter's red scent resounded in his mouth, fell into his belly, and a burst of heat rose. The gourmet cells in the body work naturally and become active. Gastronomy, not only cooking things, as long as you eat and drink, can be counted as food, wine and meals. This aged wine can also arouse the interest of gourmet cells. The aged wine also adds hundreds of pounds of strength to the body. Happy, Lu Zishan watched Yi Tianxing drink the wine in the bowl neatly, but he nodded, and his eyes turned softer. This drunk drinking behavior was very appetizing for him. Some people have the right character, so they can talk. Monk, do you know that you just entered another inn just because you ate the overlord meal and was thrown out by the second person in the inn and thrown out directly? Yi Tianxing put down his bowl and looked at Lu Zishan calmly. He said. What? I came into the inn and was thrown out. Why didn't I see the monk? Lu Zishan heard that his eyebrows frowned suddenly, full of surprise. The kind of surprise Yi Tianxing saw was definitely not a pretense. It was really a surprise that I knew it for the first time. Moreover, he was outside and he did not see another one falling out of the inn by himself. No wonder he felt something wrong when he entered the inn. Those people looked at his eyes a little bit wrongly. It was not clear what was going on before. Now when I hear it, I don't know where it was. The problem is, he just didn't see another one outside at all. Not even one figure was seen. Did you not see? Yi Tianxing frowned slightly. Just the second one threw the other one out, but in a short time, you stepped into the inn, www.novelhall.com, in the process, the time was very short. It stands to reason that you can't possibly miss it. So, there is another possibility that you are deliberately hiding from you, and of course, there are other possibilities. Quote. Lu Zishan didn't even know it at all. This was unexpected. If what is before is true, what was before is false. If it is false, then who is the other person? Is it really similar in appearance, or has some strange monster transformed into something, and why it turns into Lu Zishan's face, these are unknown. Such a strange thing suddenly appeared on the road to the land of treasure. It is impossible for Tianxing to have various ideas and thoughts in his heart. There are really things that don't have long eyes come out of the monk. Lu Zishan heard it, glaring at his eyes, exhaling two rough airs in his nose, and sneered, don't let the monk know what it is, otherwise, let it I know it's amazing. Quote. Even if he knew someone was posing, he couldn't help it, he didn't know where the other party was and where to find it. It's even harder to find out if you don't even know what it is. Thank you Brother Yi for telling the truth. Otherwise, I'm still in the drums. Lu Zixin gave a roar and immediately thanked Yi Tianxing. No need to thank, I'm just curious, I didn't expect that someone was posing as someone. Yi Mao was also very interested in such things. Don't worry about these things, let's drink. Yi Tianxing said with a smile. Immediately, Lu Zixin didn't mention it again, you two came to me, drunk and ate vegetables. After talking to each other, I became acquainted with each other. Although it is not a deep friendship, it is also a simple understanding. There was a chat for a while. The words had already opened, and naturally talked about the place where the treasure was lifted. Mobile users please browse and read for a better reading experience. Chapter 267, Transformation of Life. Remember in a second, to provide you with wonderful novel reading. This is the place where you are going to go for the treasure, to compete for that treasure. Yi Tianxing asked at first. Well, the treasures have virtues, and the monks naturally want to see them, maybe they have a chance to get them. Besides, the land of treasures must be gathered by the strong this time, and the nearby monks and strong will pass by. How can such a great event be easily missed? Lu Ji said with a deep laugh. There was a strong interest in his eyes. This kind of event that will inevitably gather a large number of strong monks around. If you miss it, you will regret it later. Moreover, whoever said that he must not get a baby? Maybe ***** is here. Baby really fell into his hands. That's right, this time I also plan to go to the land of Zongbao. Even if I can't get it, it's definitely an honor to be able to witness the birth of Zongbao. Yi Tianxing nodded in response. The integration of all walks of life has become the eternal continent of today, but the monk is quite looking forward to what the heroes of other worlds look like. I am going to see it, and by the way, I will ask you for advice. This kind of event really makes the monk feel very uncomfortable. Lu Ji grinned loudly. This time is bound to be a gathering of powerful people, and no one knows the true and false of the land of treasure. No matter what, it is better to be careful. Yi Tianxing reminded. Rest assured, the monk knows well and will not act recklessly. Lu Ji answered with a deep smile. Small 2, drink. At this moment, a figure came in at the door of the inn. It is a young man, in a black robe, holding a long knife in his hand, with a cold air on his body, inaccessible and indifferent, and refused to be thousands of miles away. Instinct resists everything outside. After entering, sit down in front of an unoccupied table and make a voice. Come, guest, your wine. Xiao Li stepped forward, took a pot of her daughter red, walked to the young man, and put it on the table. Xiao looked at the man's eyes with a faint dignity. Sword meaning. Yi Tianxing felt a sorrow in his heart, and he felt a pure sword in the young swordsman. This knife intention is very condensed, and it is very sharp, and the knife intention must be nurtured to a considerable level. He felt that there was a big gap between his spears and those. This is a top swordsman, who is also not weak, and is already the 6th strongest man in Shanghai. In Shanghai, there is no fundamental gap, and even life and consciousness are the same. It is not uncommon for Shanghai to kill life and consciousness. Cultivation is only part of the combat power, and there are too many factors that determine the outcome of life and death. The destructive power that martial arts really produces is even more amazing. After looking at the young swordsman for a few moments, Yi Tianxing did not rush forward to talk. As the saying goes, don't dedicate yourself to diligence. Tang suddenly stepped forward, not necessarily a good result. Let it be the best. It seemed to feel Yi Tianxing's gaze, and the young swordsman turned his head to glance. Yi Tianxing saw and nodded with a smile. The young swordsman paused, nodded in return, and then focused on the wine glass in his hand. After chatting with Lu Ji again for a few moments, Yi Tianxing called Shower and left a sum of eternal coins. Then walked upstairs. There is room to live on the 2nd floor. Now that it is getting light, Yi Tianxing has no intention of leaving the inn and moving on. Might as well rest in the inn for a night. Go up to the 2nd floor. On the 2nd floor, you can see a room. Outside these rooms, there is a sign that says, no, yes. Obviously, this represents whether there is anyone in it. The room with the signboard was obviously occupied. Yi Tianxing reached out and touched the door of a room with a sign on it. Suddenly, a layer of white light emerged directly on the door, turning into a forbidden enchantment to block in front, unable to approach, let alone entering the room. There is a restriction in the room. Once someone moves in, the restriction will be automatically generated. This will ensure the absolute security in the room. Even if someone breaks the restriction, it will alarm all around. It really is a strange treasure. After Yi Tianqing tried, he nodded secretly. At this point, Longmen In obviously did a pretty good job. Let a lot of people feel a sense of security. What's most important outside is security. Came to a room with no sign outside, pushed the door open and walked in. When the door is closed, the wordless sign on the outside suddenly becomes worded. This point is quite amazing. Nice room, although simple, but not small in space. It is not as narrow as seen on the outside. It seems that each room has the characteristics of space. It has its own inner space. Moreover, the vitality of the heavens and the earth is so rich that contains the spirit circle. Quote. Looking at the interior of the room in front, Yi Tianqing nodded secretly. This room is about 50 or 60 square meters in size, with a bed and quilt. Some ordinary supplies, others are nothing. Although simple, it can be considered quite good in the inn. Especially the concentration of Reiki in the room is more than 10 times stronger than the outside. Entering inside, even if you breathe, you can feel much more relaxed and comfortable than outside. Cultivation in such an environment is definitely faster than outside. This is the strength of the spirit circle. Sure enough, the situation is gathering, the mysterious swordsman is only one of them, and the fake monk does not know who it is. The land of treasure is no small matter. While taking the time to raise the realm of refining to Heiding Ju Ming, complete the first transformation of life, give birth to physical powers. Give yourself another whole card. Quote. After eating the dark cooked beef, the physical strength has reached more than 89,000 kilograms, close to the breakthrough. Feeling the pressure, Yi Tianqing no longer intends to continue to suppress it, the physical transformation, just tonight. I am sure, no hesitation. With a wave of my hand, I took out a few foods that Lai He had cooked before, and started to taste them without hesitation. In the hand, the chopsticks were like the wind, and in a blink of an eye, a good food kept falling into the belly. Even if most of them have been tasted, eating them can still increase physical strength, but the increase cannot be compared with the first time. 84,000 pounds, 86,000 pounds, 89,900 catties. Ding ding ding. In the flesh, I only saw that the black dinger burst into a fierce dinging sound directly. One after another, dingming is fully connected. The power of terror burst out from the black tripod, turned into sound waves, and rushed into the flesh and blood, the meridians of the bones. Bang bang. Almost instantly, I saw that Yi Tianqing's extremely powerful body was completely exploded at this moment. The whole body, flesh and bones were all shattered in 9 consecutive dings. Already, on the body, as if there were countless bombs bursting out, every inch burst. Burst into flesh, bone is broken and crushed into powder. In the blood fog, you can see a few bright spots of light. Such as eyes, as well as Shanhai, Shiding, Zanjia. Dantian, these fate turns into small stars, entangled in the blood mist, emitting the light of God. Even if Heiding Ju Ming, they will not shatter them. The light that radiates in the blood mist is the eyes, and the potential of congenital yin and yang eyes is immense. The light shines most. Ding. At the moment when the flesh completely burst into blood mist, I only saw that the endless black divine light bloomed again on the black tripod, and melted into the blood mist like a tide. These black lights are like a coagulant, tangled blood. The fog begins to change at a rate that is visible to the naked eye. The first is bone fragments crushed into powder, condensing together at a speed that is visible to the naked eye. Skull and sternum, arm bones, ribs, spine bones, hands, feet, above and below the whole body, all bones condense in an instant, and a layer of black precious light appears on the bones, and the metal-like luster is flowing. Density and tenacity both increase too much and too much. If the sword is cut on it, it is difficult to cut the bone. It was only after the bones were completely condensed that all the black rays were restrained and converged into the bones, making the bones white again. The bones are condensed. Next, you can see that the 5 internal organs and the 6 internal organs condense at a more amazing speed, appear in the skeleton, the heart is beating, and other organs are beating. The 5 internal organs and the 6 internal organs are already quite powerful. The heart beats like never before, filled with powerful power. Followed by meridians. Meridians emerged. The flow of true gas flows in the meridian channels. 1 inch of flesh is derived from blood mist and covers the bones. This speed is as fast as frightening. In Heiding, the huge blood makes this regeneration speed reach an inhuman level. In an instant, all flesh and blood condensed. The complete body reappeared in the room. The body's surface was radiant with brilliance. The entire membrane has extremely strong defenses. The power of chi and blood travels through the flesh and blood, and the sword is cut on it, and it will be disintegrated, even shattered on the spot. Strength, extremely powerful power flooded this body. www.novelhall.com. Ding Ju Ming shattered the body and reorganized it again. Let the body be completely transformed. Every inch of flesh and bone, the vitality and strength contained in it, completely exceed the original boundaries. This is the transformation on the level of life. You can walk in flames and bathe in ice. Raise your hands and smash the mountains and smash the giant trees. The transformation of life level makes Yi Tianxing clearly feel that his body completely breaks a shackle, and the whole body is extremely relaxed. The potential in the body is even stronger. Even the meridian channels have expanded a lot. The most important thing is the mouthful of black tripod. Has been completely consolidated into substance. Turned into a real black tripod, which can be freely changed in reality. In Ding Zhong, the majestic blood was rolling. Giant egg condensed inside. Countless chi and blood rolled, and it seemed that a mysterious rune was derived from chi and blood and got into this giant egg. Mobile users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. Chapter 268, Purple River Car. Remember in a second, to provide you with wonderful novel reading. Today's Lantern Festival. I wish all book friends a happy Lantern Festival, a happy reunion, a successful career in the coming year, step by step. There is only one change today. Well, I am going to spend time with my family. Close black lens bracket. Expensive. In that giant egg, it seems that a King Kong idol is roaring, terrifying air force, suppressing the earth of Chang'an. Black Ding seems to be an oven of heaven and earth. Countless chi and blood are gathered, which are turned into nutrients and keep warming the giant eggs. Countless mysterious runes on it are circulating, giving people a vast and ancient atmosphere. The ancient messages in the blood, the inheritance from the laws of heaven and earth, and the true meaning of Daoyun from the practice of body exercises. All in the black tripod. Constantly changing and intersecting, colliding bright sparks. The physical power of the refiner is born when life is transformed. This breeding process is to draw from the blood, the ancient heritage messages in the flesh, the combat skills that he has cultivated, and even the rules and rhymes from the practice of body exercises, merge into one, and finally give birth. It can be said that, even among practitioners who practice the same practice, among 10 people, the magical powers they bred are different, and even if the appearance is the same, the power will have different changes. The process of gestating supernatural powers is full of unpredictable unknowns. Moreover, Yi Tianxing's body contains the incredible treasure of gourmet cells. His own life has undergone a unique transformation. In the process of giving birth to magical power, it is impossible to predict. Because, while the gourmet cell is tasting the gourmet, it also incorporates the essence gene fragments contained in the gourmet into the flesh and blood. These will become the powerful nutrients that give birth to magical powers. Okay, finally began to conceive physical powers. According to the practice of physical exercises, physical powers have strengths and weaknesses in the process of incubation, which are related to their own heritage, and there are various treasures that can speed up the development of magic powers, even it is the effect of evolution and transformation on the magical power. I remember that among the thousands of exotic treasures obtained before, there are other valuable treasures that are useful for the physical magical power. Name Purple River Car. As long as the Purple River Car is incorporated into the body, the magical power will transform into a unique existence between the magical power and the magical soldier. This is more powerful than the normal physical magical power and has unlimited potential. Quote, Yi Tianxing saw the physical supernatural power being bred in Heiding, and secretly excited in his heart. Although it is not known what the supernatural powers will be, it will never be worse. There are only a handful of cultivators who can give birth to physical powers if they do not open their lives. But each one has unstoppable power. It is a magical power that can truly exert physical power to the extreme. The Purple River Car, a coating for pregnant women, has strong medicinal value, but this different treasure, the Purple River Car, is not a coating for pregnant women but a strange treasure bred by heaven and earth. Like an embryo, it can be combined with magical powers. Let the magical powers have a carrier and become like a magical soldier. It is one of the most valuable treasures that the cultivator wants. Yi Tianxing has such a Purple River Car, and there is more than one. Brush. As soon as I thought about it, a purple light flashed in the tower of Hongmengtiandi, and I saw a purple river car like a coat flashing with a mysterious purple texture. At first glance, it is like seeing a purple world. After the Zaihe vehicle appeared, he didn't hesitate to invest in heading. Emerged in that giant egg. Suddenly, the giant egg suddenly turned into purple, and countless mysterious runes and rhymes collided and intertwined with each other at an even faster speed. More mysterious. At the same time, the vitality of the world poured into the black tripod like a tide and merged into the giant egg. Become a nutrient. The speed of supernatural birth is accelerating. It seems that it won't be long before the first physical powers are born. He took his attention away from heading. Yi Tianxing also appeared in the eyes of joy and expectation. Incorporating into the purple river car, the time for the birth of physical magical power will inevitably accelerate, and the potential of magical power will be stronger. The moment of transformation can be expected. There is no slack in this. After the physical transformation, he began to rethink the condensed dragon rune. There are too many runes to chaos Longqi, so if you don't hurry to practice every minute, you don't know how long you want to stay in this realm. There is one less if you gather one. However, this time, I did not continue to practice with the will beads, but only relied on one's own practice and slowly condensed one by one. As time went by, one night passed quietly. The powerful heaven and earth vitality gathered by the spiritual spirit formation has become even more fish-like when it is cultivated. Even the exhausted mental strength recovers much faster than usual. Let the number of runes gathered this night exceed the normal range several times. In the early morning, the sun rises to the east. Yi Tianxing left the room and was about to go downstairs. Jin Zhuangyu didn't know when it was on the side and said with a smile, "Yi Daoyu, you have to go to the land of treasure." "That's right." Yi Tianxing nodded his head, "There is nothing to hide. Be careful of Yidao friends. The powerhouses attracted by Chongbao this time are not only human races, but also alien powerhouses. Last night, a giant passed by nearby, and the power of that giant was quite amazing. Hidden, if you are not careful, it will fall. According to the information that the body understands, that place is a large tomb. The reason for the vision is that a robber digs up the large tomb and leaks the air machine." Change. Quote. After Jin Yuyu groaned slightly, she said, "There is a big tomb." When Yi Tianxing heard it, he couldn't help but be surprised. He thought it was only the birth of Chongbao. Now it seems that things are not so simple. The information of Longmen In cannot be fake. In this case, the situation will only become more complicated. This news does not charge money, but I hope that there will be opportunities for cooperation in the future. My Longmen In hopes to get a large amount of eternal coins. Jin Zuiyu directly stated his purpose. With such perfect currency in front of her, she could not abandon it. There will naturally be opportunities for cooperation in the future. Yi Tianxing nodded, without giving an exact answer. Go straight downstairs. There is nothing wrong with cooperating with Longmen In. Currency is important because it can be circulated in the Longmen In, and it can also spread faster and be recognized by other people. Once in circulation, it can gather popularity. That is the hidden wealth. Downstairs, no stay. Go straight out of the inn. Keep going forward. Body stepped into the wilderness. Sure enough, there are giants. Even if they are not giants, they are very huge creatures. It didn't take long to enter the wilderness, and you saw huge footprints on the ground. These footprints appeared on the ground like deep pits, and the weight and strength of these footprints were quite amazing. Huge footprints, even if a normal person is lying on them, have no way to cover them. It can hold 2 adults. Footprints are similar to human footprints, but are magnified too many times. A giant in the legend. Hope is not the enemy. If such a huge life becomes an enemy, the pressure to withstand it must be quite terrible. It's like the contrast between an elephant and an ant. The gap on the body will also bring invisible pressure. Secretly in my heart, but did not stay, and continued to move forward. I don't know if it's because there are powerful creatures passing by. Most of the beasts and monsters in the wilderness escaped and migrated away, so that they didn't encounter a few beasts along the way. Before the comparison, walking was quite easy. Unconsciously, looking up, you can already see that a waterfall in the distance descends from the sky. There was a natural rush of water vapor. The land of treasures should be near here. Yi Tianxing glanced ahead, and the area where the previous vision appeared was in this one. Look closely. A long river passed slowly. That river, no accident, is the long river near Xuanwang town. If you knew it, you could go straight down the river and cross the river by canoe. Maybe the speed will be faster. Yi Tianxing looked at Da not far away, and groaned secretly in his heart. Going down the river, it will naturally go up a lot faster, but it is also impossible to sail smoothly. Whether the terrible aquatic beasts are hidden in the river is unknown, but it must contain powerful beasts. Danger. It can be said that there are advantages and disadvantages. So many people have come. Sure enough, the vision has gathered a large number of nearby strongmen here. After walking forward for a while, I immediately saw that there were a group of monks who were not far away, but they were alert to each other and even standing positions were separated from each other and kept a certain distance. There are also 3 or 5 groups. Just such a small number. There are men and women, monks, and strange people. The arrival of Yi Tianxing caused nearby monks to shift their eyes, and after glancing at him, they looked away and continued to look forward. Obviously, he didn't care too much about him. It can also be said that their attention had already been attracted by other things. What is it? Yi Tianxing couldn't help but be curious, and his subconscious pace accelerated a little. After approaching www.novelhall.com, suddenly appeared a strange picture. In front of him, a huge hole appeared. The opening is directly underground. It should not have existed before, but the ground collapsed suddenly, and this hole was formed. The water flowing from the waterfall is pouring into the mouth of the cave. It is strange that no matter how much water is poured into the cave cave is not filled. Instead, the turbulence of the water continued to sound. It seems that this hole is bottomless. The most terrifying thing is that in the cave, there is wind. In the wind, with a trace of weird laughter, it was like a child, like a woman. Into the ear, let everyone secretly hear involuntarily, giving birth to a chill. This is also the reason why so many people stop before this cave. The laughter was soaked. There is a saying, rather listen to ghosts than listen to ghosts. Ghost crying is normal, and ghost laughing is really trying to kill you. This is a bad sign. Mobile users please browse and read for a better reading experience. Chapter 269, Mass Grave. Remember in a second, to provide you with wonderful novel reading. For subscription recommendations, come with tickets. Close black lens bracket. When you hear ghosts crying, you still have a hint of vitality. When you hear ghosts laughing, it is really a death. Such a somber ghost laughter in this hole, whether or not it is a ghost, has given birth to a trace of fear. As long as people have a fear of the unknown. Come in, since it's here, then there is no reason to be intimidated by a small hole. Chongbao must be below, without risk, how can you get a great chance? A monk's face showed a firmness. As soon as the voice fell behind, there was no hesitation, and he jumped into the dark hole. This hole is not straight down, but tilted deep into the ground, so that people can easily enter the hole along the hole, and there is a waterfall flowing, and you can drift directly along the stream. How can you make people specialize in the front? Isn't it just a hole in the mouth? If others dare, I will not be afraid, let alone say that I haven't seen a ghost. Even if I have encountered a ghost, I'm not afraid. People have killed, ferocious beasts have been killed, and ghosts have not been killed. Quote. A big-faced man with a guilty sword rushed into the hole politely. Someone took the lead, and suddenly the other monks were also bold. One by one, they stepped into the hole one after another. There is even some momentum. Some enter alone, some are in groups of 3 or 5. In a blink of an eye, many monks who had been around them all disappeared in a moment. Yi Tianxing looked at the deep hole in front of him, and there was a touch of strange color in his eyes. Under the congenital yin and yang, he could see a strong death gas and yin in the hole. This is really not an ordinary hole, but a thief hole, tomb hole. Jin Zuyu's information is indeed correct. This place is really not an ordinary place, but a large tomb. What leaked from the mouth of the cave was the dead gas and yin contained in the tomb. As for what was inside, the zombie was still a ghost. It was hard to know it all, only to get to know it. As the treasure hidden in this tomb, Yi Tianxing groaned secretly in his heart. Every tomb is bound to be among the best treasures of feng shui. The treasures of feng shui are uniquely endowed by nature. But a long time ago, the owner of the tomb was not just for the sake of the blessings and grandchildren. It is to make ourselves a fairy, a treasure of feng shui, and the formation of heaven and earth, including the creation of heaven and earth. If we can obtain this creation, we can give birth to ourselves again. Live again. The grave is not only the body itself, but also the power of condensing feng shui, bringing together the true meaning of creation, and burying the creation contained in feng shui together in the grave and born from the soil. Any large tomb has the ability to gather the power of feng shui. Once the feng shui really converges, naturally, in the tomb, there is a terrible danger, and the power of feng shui floods the tomb. Let the entire tomb, all kinds of incredible changes, strange and unpredictable. The top feng shui masters can use this feng shui power to integrate into the tomb more perfectly, so that the owner of the tomb can truly be forged, possibly to survive the next life, and possibly become an immortal. The body does not die. It's amazing. Feng Shui Baodi gave birth to the treasure, which is also the most normal thing. The more top Feng Shui treasures, the greater the danger in the tomb. Although Yi Tianxing didn't understand the art of Feng Shui, the death tones leaked from the grave can be felt that this tomb is extraordinary. Well, a big tomb, a big river to the east, the water is a dragon vein. There are mountains on the west, but lonely mountains, dragons on the mountain, and waterfalls below the mountains. They fall down vertically and fall into deep ponds. The dragon rises, and the water in the waterfall is Longyan. This is the feng shui treasure of Longshui. The land of Phoenix has the weather of phoenixes. The dragon and the phoenix are awe-inspiring. This feng shui treasure is even more amazing. There is a large tomb, which must be a quite amazing tomb. To what extent is the temperature of the tomb raised by feng shui? It must be extremely dangerous inside. Quote, a young man, wearing a robe, carrying a bamboo tube like a bamboo slip on his back. On that bamboo tube, it seemed to be densely covered with mysterious obituaries, exuding mysterious colors. He was carrying a war sword, and when he saw it, there were a lot of years and it looked a bit old. With a breath like a prodigal. There is also a righteousness. This friend, I don't see the situation in the tomb, it's dangerous and unexpected. It's better to go with you and me. It's better to take care of it. The young monk looked at Yi Tianxing and immediately walked over and suggested. Why are you looking for me? There are not a few monks who have just been here. Yi Tianxing's eyes flashed strangely and said slowly. Oh, you can't hide the amazing luck of your body from Yi Ziqiu's eyes, and I can't see the cultivation of Dao Yu. You must have a strong whole card in your body. If you choose a collaborator, you naturally need a strong one. Besides, this kind of move to the tomb is weak. Maybe it will be buried in the tomb, I don't want to die in it. Quote. Yi Ziqiu said with a smile. You can look up. Yi Tianxing looked at the young man and asked. Hope cannot be achieved by anyone. Hope is a kind of magical power. Normally, Taoism has a secret way to open the eyes of the heavens. It can make people see things that are not usually seen for a short time. Hope, luck, popularity, mountains and rivers, feng shui, etc. It is not so simple to develop a life tactic. Of course, even if you don't open up, you can gather spell runes in your body and cast them, similar to Western magic, with certain restrictions. This secret technique is also very precious. It is impossible for a monk to get it. Hey, mystery, just mystery. Yi Ziqiu said with a smile. Well, if you want to go in together, the two of us will be invincible. The treasures in the tomb are not ours yet. Do not know why, Yi Ziqiu really fancy Yi Tianxing, licked his face and came over. I don't know anything about the situation in the tomb. It doesn't help to follow me. Yi Tianxing didn't refuse or promise, and as soon as his voice fell, he stepped directly into the hole. As soon as I entered, I immediately stepped on the water, and the rushing water immediately took my body down. However, who is Yi Tianxing? The cultivation of the body has reached Heiding Juming, and he began to breed strong men with physical powers. The power of the physical body can determine the mountains and rivers. A little impact of the water flow would have no effect on him at all. Giggle. However, at this moment, there was a weird laughter in the cave. From there, a strong engulfing force emerged from the depths of the cave without warning, as if a strange wind came out. This strange wind is not blowing from the inside out. But it came from the outside, like a powerful suction from the depths of the cave. The most weird thing is that the power contained in this wind is very weird, ever-changing and adversity. Falling on him, even Yi Tianxing couldn't hold his body. It was swollen and poured into the water. Drift quickly towards the depths of the cave. Bang bang. This tomb is not straight, but it is like the 19 and 18 bends. In the tomb, there are various obstacles, such as reefs. Driven by the water, there is no way to control the body, and it constantly hits the cave walls and obstacles. Those obstacles are a little harder, and when they hit them, the monks will be hit hard. But after Yi Tianxing bumped into it, the flesh instinctively bounced back a strong force, not only did not hurt the body, but was shattered on the spot by the force of the back shock in the flesh. Break into pieces, or even powder. Smashed on the wall of the cave, traces of depressions appeared on the wall. Boom. After another shock, the suction disappeared. The body fell to the ground. At the moment when he touched the ground, Yi Tianxing stood up instinctively and quickly glanced around. In the underground space, there was darkness and darkness. Normal people absolutely couldn't see their fingers when they reached out. However, this was not a problem for him. As long as the cultivation reaches a certain level, it is as simple as seeing darkness as day. There are so many bones, the number of them is probably not in the tens of thousands or tens of thousands. It's all human bones. Yi Tianxing glanced at his own location, clearly inside a huge corpse pit. Tired of bones, shocking. These bones can be seen, and I haven't known how many years. When he died, it must have been quite painful. Boom. Oh, I was killed. This grave is so long. It almost knocked me out. Yi Ziqiu also fell down. Can be seen. The entrance was diagonally above, and there was an underground river below. The flowing water fell into the underground river, and I didn't know where it was flowing. But it is conceivable that it is absolutely impossible to leave here through the entrance. This is the only way to go in. www.novelhall.com. Why are there so many bones? Good guys, I'm afraid there are more than 100,000 of them. In the past, many princes and nobles used tens of thousands to build the tomb. Tens of thousands of slaves, husbands, craftsmen. Once the construction is completed, most of these people do not end well, they will be ordered to kill and be buried. This kind of thing is absolutely terrible and extinct. Quote. Yi Ziqiu looked at the bones around him and couldn't help taking a breath on the spot. Judging from the number of bones of this scale, the cultivating tomb is definitely quite majestic. Especially now that the world is changing, the worlds are merging, and many things appear on the eternal continent, which will produce even more strange changes. Perhaps the original tomb was not of this scale and will change. Many large tombs are brought together to change the minds of all beings. Become more majestic and more scary. Daoyu, the grievances here are so strong that the innocent folk artisans are buried, and the grievances are deep enough to move the heavens and the earth. Now that the heavens and earth are so strong and the yin is overwhelming, there may be unknown in this bone pit. Yi Ziqiu glanced around, his eyes flashed with divine light. Mobile users please browse and read for a better reading experience. Chapter 270, Guillotine Ghost Sword. Remember in a second, to provide you with wonderful novel reading. These people died very weird. They were all killed in the same way. They all died by beheading their heads. The heads were separated without exception. The cruel tomb owner built a large tomb and buried tens of thousands. Life. Yi Tianxing glanced over the bones. All the bones are separated from the head. Although it is normal to separate the head and bone when it becomes white bone, he sees sharp fractures on the neck of these bones. This was caused by a severed weapon that severed the skull. Under normal circumstances, such a fracture would not occur on the neck. Well, that's true. Yi Ziqiu looked at the bones on the ground with a look of surprise in his eyes, and said, it seems that the master of the tomb did not allow these minion slave craftsmen to slowly starve to death, but ordered his men to be executed directly. Use the decapitation. No wonder the grievances in these bones are so strong, so many people have died, and they have gathered in mass graves, unknown and largely unknown. Quote. There was a dignity in his eyes. In this situation, there will definitely be a misfortune, and the emergence of a ghost is definitely a breeze, but now, only the resentment is seen, but the ghost is not seen. In the entire mass grave, there is a strange smell. This is not normal. Abnormal means that there is a mystery in it. It's not normal, only resentment, no ghosts, or there is no breeding of ghosts, or there are other changes. Yi Tianxing nodded secretly, which is strange, but if there is a ghost, that innate yin and yang eye is absolutely impossible to see. The ability to spy on the yin and yang, if the congenital yin and yang eyes recognize the second, no pupil technique dare to call the first. When exorcism hunters used to rely on yin and yang eyes, they were invincible in the end. Looking around, this mass pit is really a big pit. There is an entrance over the back, there is a lot of flowing water hanging down, there is an underground river in the back, I don't know where to go. There are mass graves all around, white bones everywhere, and at a glance, there are white bones everywhere. I'm afraid that there are no less than 2 or 3 miles. The front is a cliff. The cliff was very steep and it was quite difficult to climb up. It can be said that this is completely an underground space. Very huge underground world. When the tomb was built, the ground was hollowed out. It may also be the case originally, but after some repairs. I can't see it anywhere else, but I can see that to leave the mass grave, only climb up through the cliff. There is no second way. And there were no ropes on the cliff. If you want to go up, you can only climb by yourself, and there is no other means to help. This point can also be seen by other monks. Now, many monks have begun to climb up the cliff. It's just a cliff, and I can't help it. A young woman with a beautiful face was obviously not interested in standing in a mass grave looking at a large number of bones. I didn't plan to go climbing. Backhand, took out a rune. Under the urging, Fuji turned directly into a breeze. Cover his body and pull it up sharply. Go against the wind. Fuyu Royal Wind Rune. You can let your body be shrouded by the breeze, rise on the ground, and walk in the wind, and it doesn't last long, but it is obviously not a problem to rush to the cliff. Russ. Not only did she have a way, other monks also had their own means, only to see a golden rope in the hands of a middle-aged man. This rope flickered with different light, and between the arms, it stretched out rapidly, strangely appeared on the top of the cliff, directly over it. Then, the entire rope shrank instantly. It's like an elastic shrink rope. The force of contraction quickly pulled the middle-aged man up. It was as if a sling had hung him up. That is a strange treasure. It is unique in climbing. Good things, really good things. Yi Ziqiu saw and couldn't help but sigh. A cliff can't stop a monk who is a living monk. Yi Daoyu, someone has already gone up. The grave still doesn't know what the danger is. If you stay in this mass grave, how can you feel extremely infiltrating? It is better for us to go up. Other people have a way, and Yi Ziqiu is not vegetarians. I have a maga technique that can take Taoists directly to the cliff. Quote. Yi Ziqiu watched someone ascend to the cliff, and her heart was fiery. Entering the tomb, everyone wants to get treasure. Where would you like to fall behind? Then rely on Yi Daoyu's strange door armor. Yi Tianxing heard, without hesitation, directly agreed. Well, look at me. Yi Ziqiu grinned, stretched out his hand and patted it on Yi Tianxing's shoulder. With a hard hand, a yellow light suddenly appeared on his body, covering himself and Yi Tianxing at the same time. The two bodies seemed as if the fish had touched the water and went straight into go underground. Yi Tianxing can see that there is soil everywhere. But the whole body seemed to be connected to the earth in an instant. In the earth, it seemed to be a swimming fish in the water, walking forward with ease. Of course, outside of the body, you can still feel the pressure from the earth. This pressure has a considerable impact on the speed of travel. This is the mystery of the earthen art. Otherwise, even underground monks, even monks, will be directly crushed to death and buried alive. Covered by the weight of the earth. However, it seems that because of carrying Yi Tianxing, the speed of hoeing the ground is not too fast, but the monk climbing the cliff does not know how much faster. Yi Tianxing can feel that his body is constantly rising. Puff. Unconsciously, the pressure on the outside disappeared instantly. The body is light. The vision in front of me became wider again. When we arrived, I didn't expect to be so tired to lead people. My obedience, my vitality was mostly consumed. If we don't reach the top of the cliff again, we will be buried in the ground. As soon as he came out, Yi Ziqiu fell into a soft body and collapsed to the ground with a sweat on his forehead. Under the circumstance of walking through the ground or taking a person, the consumption of him is increased exponentially, and there is no way to support it for a long time. Fortunately, this is only a short distance limp, otherwise, really it was a tragedy that halfway through the repair was exhausted, and it couldn't be buried completely underground. It is said that in history, many monks who practiced the earthen arts were too self-defeating. They could not come out at once, and they were buried directly in the ground and died alive. It can be said that the Landiers died in the earth. The good water drowned. Early ground is risky and people must be cautious. A word emerged from Yi Zhichu's mind for the first time. In the future, he will lead people to stun, he must think carefully before talking. Don't just dying underground, it is really a tragedy. Death is a big joke. This is for you. No one in the tomb knows the danger, and it will be restored as soon as possible. Yi Tianxing saw it, shook his head slightly, and threw a tiandan dan between his hands. What is it? Elixir. This breath is the elixir. 10% of the elixir, no elixir of any impurities. You have such a treasure. Yi Ziqiu grabbed the elixir in his hands, watched it carefully, and excited in his eyes. Light, Lingdan, this is the elixir that can only be made by the master of alchemy. After taking it, there is no impurity at all. It is a gem. It is almost impossible to see in ordinary times, and it was so easy to appear in his hands. It's almost like dreaming. Immediately without hesitation, Zonko swallowed the elixir, and the vital energy consumed in the body was recovering at an alarming rate. When a Tiantan Dan went down, not only was the authentic energy recovered, but even the amount of mental energy had increased. Daoyu, is there any elixir? Yi Ziqiu was looking forward to Yi Tianxing and asked urgently. Yi Tianxing ignored it and looked forward. Above the cliff is a platform. On the platform, a chilling sight appeared. An old high platform stands in the center of the platform. The high platform does not know what material to cast, it is natural, can be seen on the surface, there are various mysterious textures engraved on it, I don't know why, there seems to be thick the ***** scent emanated from it, making people nauseous. There is a knife on this high platform. A ghost-headed sword with a heavy body, a ghost head carved at the handle, quite sharp, cut gold and jade. The back of the knife has a round mouth, which is special in shape. On the knife body, we can see the strange pattern of the knife. This knife has become blood-colored. Blinking cold light, it seems that you can hear countless injustices moaning and crying. The guillotine, the ghost-headed sword. Yi Tianxing's eyes were frozen, and the yin and yang eyes could see endless resentment on the high platform and the sword, and the suffocation flowed. Ghost-headed knives are best at beheading and decapitation. They have always been a favorite of executioners. This big knife, www.novelhall.com, can be decapitated and clean. Can be called the exclusive executioner. On the guillotine, the **** smell will last for thousands of years. How much blood can be stained to reach this level? Even the ghost's big sword is stained with blood red. How many people have been killed and how many heads have been cut with this knife? No, it would be the bodies in the mass graves below, all of which were cut off by this guillotine. Quote. Yi Zhiqiu's eye pupils contracted violently, and she was taken aback by the high platform in front of her. A strong omission echoed in my mind. Looking at this guillotine and ghost head sword, even more intense. With a single knife, as long as you kill people, you can produce radon, containing evil spirits. Killing hundreds or thousands of people is a weapon. If 10,000 people are slaughtered, more than 100,000 people. Even if it was only an inconspicuous sword, it must become the most terrible murder knife. It was a murder knife washed out of blood. In particular, in this feng shui treasure where dragons and phoenixes intersect, this fierce knife is trained and cultivated by the power of feng shui. What kind of changes will there be? No one can estimate it. Mobile users, please browse and read for a better reading experience. Chapter 271, Scorpion Haunt. Monday, ask for a recommendation ticket, and the brother who has the ticket will give some help. Burning library. Weapon, this is a peerless weapon. Yi Ziqiu said, a bit ugly. Killing more than 100,000 people is hard to think of as a murder weapon. It is a murder weapon, and it is also an unparalleled murder knife. Yi Tianxing's eyes were frozen, Shen Sheng said. As long as it is available, this murderous knife will never be inferior to any other treasure. This was born from the power of feng shui in the tomb, which is not much different from the strange treasures bred by heaven and earth. It draws the power of feng shui. The tomb is sealed like chaos, and the power of feng shui is like a fire. It is not difficult to train different treasures. Good killing knife, I just lack a good knife. With this killing knife in hand, who in Shanghai can stop me from waving a knife? A man with a rough face saw the ghost head inserted in the guillotine at the time of the sword, there was a greedy desire in his eyes. As long as it is not a fool, anyone can see the magical difference in that mouth. Everyone wants to own it. This man was carrying a sword on his back. He was a swordsman. In the face of a real sword, it was even more difficult for him to restrain his desire in his heart. With a loud laugh, his body rushed towards the guillotine like a strong wind. The body is violent, but the speed is extremely fast, just like a windstorm, and it has already rushed out of the distance in a blink of an eye. Bold, this knife is clearly a thing without a master, a man with virtue resides, and the sword is mine. The young monk who possessed Ruisuo sneered, Ruisuo appeared in his hand, and fluttered, Ruisuo passed through like a slender snake, and appeared faster than the swordsman on the guillotine, the handle of the ghost blade knife fell down, and when it touched, it was wrapped around the handle. Then, the monk pulled it hard without hesitation, and pulled the ghost's sword from the guillotine directly, and pulled it to his side. But this pull, the proud expression that the young monk had originally revealed, completely stopped on his face. With this pull, the ghost's sharp sword inserted on the guillotine remained untouched. How is it possible that I have thousands of kilograms of strength, plus the strength of my body, and tens of thousands of kilograms of strength? I can't move this ghost sword. I don't believe it. The monk's eyes were dull and unbelievable. Then he pulled hard again. A tear again. His face rose for a while, but the ghost-headed sword was grown on the guillotine, motionless, without even a trace of tremor. All the power fell on it, just like the stone entered the sea with no reaction at all. How could this be? The monk's face showed unwillingness, but now it seems that with his strength, he has no ability to pull up the ghost-headed sword, which is just a few slaps on his face. The little white face without the power of a chicken, and want to take away the ghost sword, is just a joke. A man must have power, can't even pull the knife, you go to play with your rope, see me. Quote. The burly swordsman fell on the guillotine, and when he saw Ryusuo entangled the ghost-headed sword, he was shocked, thinking that he would be snatched away. He did not expect to have the ability to pull the ghost-headed sword. It's a joke. Get me up. The muscles of the swordsman's arms were knotted, as if the dragon was surging, emitting a violent breath of strength. The physical strength and the vital energy in the body are all poured into the arm in an instant. When the arm is mentioned, the ghost-headed sword must be pulled from the high platform. Okay, but this time, the swordsman's face changed, and he felt like he was going to become a tragedy and a joke. I just thought that the monk with Ryusuo could not move. It may be because the way of pulling the sword is not right, and the power is not enough. Why should he be stronger and stronger than that guy? But this pull, just follow like shaking a tree, with a power stone into the sea. There is no way to pull the knife from the guillotine, and the knife body remains motionless. Get me up. The swordsman took a deep breath. The strength in his body, infuriated into his arms crazy, swept over the ghost-headed sword again, and pulled the ghost-headed sword completely, but this time, it was no different from the previous one. The blade remains motionless. No matter how much power, there is no way to pull it up. What kind of knife is this? Why can't it be pulled out? The swordsman's face was unshakable. With his strength, even a heavy sword can still be pulled out, dancing sword flowers. But this knife cannot be pulled out. Walk away and let me come. A powerful man from Kongwu stepped onto the guillotine and yelled at the swordsman. The swordsman saw that his face was sneer, but he didn't take any action. He just gave up and stood aside. He couldn't pull up, and didn't think anyone else could pull up. Become a joke yourself, others should be a joke. With a knife, I still don't believe I can't pull it out. The big man held the knife handle with both hands and made a stop. The strength of the whole body had poured out and fell on the ghost-headed sword. Unfortunately, the confidence in his heart was still broken in front of the ghost-headed sword. Vanished. I come. Another monk came up and went towards the ghost-headed sword. Want to pull it out. Unfortunately, it did not succeed. Under the constant test of monks, no one is an exception. Ghost-headed knives seem to grow on the guillotine and remain motionless. This mouthpiece is already connected to the guillotine, and the guillotine is connected to the cliff land. There is a peculiar gas field covering it. There is no way to pull out the ghost-head sword without breaking it. Yi Ziqiu has a lot of accomplishments on Kimon's armor. At a glance, some clues have been seen. The ghost-headed sword is almost connected to the earth. Who can afford this earth is just kidding. Born with divine power, even the refiner cannot pull it out. Unless there is a mighty power that destroys the world. The tomb really contains weirdness. Although the ghost-headed sword is a peerless murderer, it is not so simple to get it. Yi Tianxing frowned slightly and did not go forward to try to pull the knife. He could vaguely feel that there was no detail in the knife, and once pulled out, it might have bad consequences. Moreover, the refiner is not invincible. Unless it is a murderous knife to recognize the Lord, or even other changes occur. A famous monk climbed to the cliff and saw fierce swords, and his heart became fiery, but after trying, they were unwilling to look at the fierce swords. Even if they were unwilling, there was no way they could not pull up the swords. Not on contention. It's a pity that I can't even pull out a monk. I don't know when. Lu Zishan also went to the guillotine and tried to pull the knife. Unfortunately, the ghost head knife still couldn't pull up. This is a person who can upside down the willow's natural divine power. After training, his strength has soared several times. Extremely powerful. Unfortunately, there is still no way to shake the sword. This ghost knife is not for me. The black swordsman whom Yi Tianxing had seen in the inn shook his head. The ghost knife was not his favorite sword. Even if it was in his hands, it would not have much effect. Moreover, he instinctively felt that the knife was dangerous, quite dangerous, and a devastating force might erupt at any time. Rumble. Suddenly, on the platform and in the ground, a dark hole was cracked without warning. In the hole, suddenly, a dark war spear broke through, leaving a good-looking woman nearby. The impenetrable piercing pierced the chest, and the towering breast was stained with blood. With a wave of her hand, she fell to the ground and made a scream of screams, but apparently, her heart was pierced and she could not survive. This sudden screaming and slaughter completely broke the peace on the cliff. Who is it? What? The upper body is a human and the lower body is a scorpion. What a monster. Interracial monsters, they are aliens, kill, and aliens ******* it. I don't know how many humans died in the hands of aliens. I have seen with my own eyes that human races have been slaughtered by aliens and turned into slaves. They live in darkness. Life is better than death. Kill them. The human monks on the platform saw the scorpion clan that suddenly came out. www.novelhall.com. Yes, they are not only found here, they also dug a channel directly from the ground and appeared on the cliff. As soon as it appeared, it was unceremonious to kill humans. The alien race has been known to all races on the eternal continent. There is no peace between aliens and humans. When it comes to it, it is a life and death fight, there is no room for euphemism. The hands of aliens are already covered with human blood. Interracial people will not show mercy to their people. The human race descended on the eternal continent. Compared to most aliens, it was too weak, so weak that they could not treat humans as the most perfect blood food. Without strength, it is huge. How could humans not be added to their recipes? Alien contamination of human blood. Human beings have even more famous sayings that their hearts must be different. Almost from the moment of blood feud, there was no possibility of peaceful coexistence. Now when I see the Scorpion tribe, many monks in the tribe shoot a strong killing intention. Not to mention, once the Scorpion race appeared, they announced their arrival with human blood. Humans, this is my Scorpion people. All the humans who come in today are going to die. All the treasures here belong to my Scorpion people. The Scorpion people chief stepped out of the hole and burrowed with a spear that bleeds blood in the middle. A famous Scorpion man came out continuously. There was armor transformed by the carapace, and the scorpion clamp and scorpion tail of the lower body shone with cold light. The look at the humans present was extremely cold, and that was the look at the prey. Fart shit, dare to be arrogant here and die for me. A swordsman shivered, shaking his arms and pulling out a knife. The sword was as smooth as a sword. With a single knife, all the power in the whole body seemed to condense completely on the blade. Chapter 272, Surgery. All forces, their own spirit, are fully condensed in the sword in their hands. At the moment when the sword comes out of the sheath, the power contained in the knife bursts out several times, quickly and accurately. This is the power of sword drawing. One shot is almost the point of life and death. Excision does not require any threshold. It only needs strong perseverance. Even a 3-year-old child can practice, because there is no secret method, only the process of unsheathing and returning to the sheath. The key to the strength of the power lies in whether you can grasp the essence and understand the true meaning. This swordsman's shot was the sword drawing technique. This knife, when cut out, can be seen in many people's eyes, a knife light cut through the sky. Extremely sharp, the hidden edge makes people even stand upright. Good knife. Many people have secretly sighed in their hearts. This knife was slashed directly towards the Scorpion Patriarch, and the slash was toward the neck and throat. It is conceivable that if the sword is cut, even if the scorpion is strong, it will be hit on the spot or even killed directly. There is nothing but a falsehood, and you want to kill me and practice for a few more years. What a sword drawing, but that's all. The Scorpion Patriarch saw it, but it showed a disdain, and the spear in his hand waved directly at the knife light. Ding! A golden iron and iron symphony sounded directly, and the extremely fast sword drawing technique was penetrated by one glance, and it was unceremoniously cut off in front of it. The power contained in the spear unexpectedly broke the long knife, but instead the spear's speed continued, and it continued to bombard the swordsman. Puff! Between the light and flint, the spear had pierced the swordsman's chest and pierced a hole. Blood burst out instantly. The body stood on the ground, exuding an unwilling breath. As the spear retracted, his body fell straight to the ground. A fast spear, good precision, amazing power. The Scorpion Patriarch's strength is really powerful. Even the sword drawing operation was broken. This is a bad visitor, and we need to wash us. The monks around the world saw that the eyes and pupils were all condensed. The knife was not harsh, but they could not even take a trick in the hands of the Scorpion clan chief. He was pierced by a spear. This combat power is absolutely quite powerful. At this moment, I only saw a young man wearing a black robe and holding a sword in his hand, taking a step forward. At this step, he could see that his feet were a little crippled. But no one cares. Step out. The knife is in the sheath. There is also only one action. Pull the knife. As if you can clearly see how the blade is pulled out from the scabbard 1 inch, you can feel that for every inch you pull out, the force condensed on the knife and the momentum condensed on him, the more intense and terrifying. It seems that everyone can clearly see that the blade is so pulled out of the scabbard. But these seem long, but they are just in the blink of an eye. It was lightning fast, especially at the moment when it was completely sheathed. A dazzling blade of light appeared in everyone's eyes like a perfect match. You can't see the real blade at all. That knife is really too fast. If the former swordsman performed the sword-drawing technique, the sword-drawing technique that appears now is truly extraordinary, just like a small witch sees a big witch. There is no comparison between the two. Such as candlelight and Hao Yu Zhengwei. Sword meaning. Yi Tianxing saw that his eyes and pupils were condensed, and in the sword light, he felt a sharp sword, which contained only the terrible will of death, extermination of everything, breaking everything, and cutting everything. The meaning of this sword is too pure. When it comes out of the sheath, it will kill. Seeing blood, we will cut everything that is in front of us. This sword intention was not practiced, it was killed. With a single wave, there is no life. The level of conciseness of this sword is definitely more powerful than his spear. To have such a powerful sword, it must be a top peerless swordsman in the original world. Only after entering the eternal continent, will it transform again and reach the level it is today. Sword meaning. Similarly, some monks see the real killer in this sword. When the sword comes out, it naturally contains an amazing edge. Under the sword, it is indestructible, and it can give a strong coercion to the will. At this moment, the chiefs of the Scorpion clan changed their faces and felt the horrific murderous power passed from the sword light. It made him feel like a heartbeat. In the sword light, smelling a breath of death. Do not want to think, a layer of dark and weird mist emerges from the body, and once it appears, the whole body is completely enveloped, it looks like a demon, tumbling between, looming inside. The spear in his hand impolitely bombarded the black swordsman. Gao Guang was too fast, he couldn't stop it at all, and when he shot, he used Wei Wei to rescue Zhao, and launched an attack directly against the swordsman himself. Want to use the length of the spear, first kill the swordsman. Puff! The blade of light fell on the black mist. The sharp blade of light split the mist. However, the mist was very strange. As soon as it was touched, the mist absorbed the power contained in the blade of light quickly, constantly reducing the power above. It looks like mist, but it looks like a ball of cotton. It has no force and has a strong toughness. It will kill the knife and stop it. This mist contained a strange dark power. Normal attacks, which cannot fall on the body at all, will be worn away by this layer of mist. But the knife light is different. It's too fast. Even the mist can't stop it. The knife in it has broken the mist and chopped on the body. The sharp sword became sharp, and even the black armor of the Scorpion Patriarch was forcibly cut in a crisp sound. Ding! The response of the Scorpion clan Patriarch was equally astonishing. At the moment when the sword light was felt, the scorpion tail needle behind him had instinctively pierced it and fell on the sword light, letting the sword light collapse on the spot. At the same time when the knife light dissipated, you can see that on the chest of the Scorpion Patriarch's chest, a stabbing knife mark was cut in the armor, and blood was seeping out. Look to death. Kill me, don't let one go. When the Scorpion Patriarch saw the knife marks on his chest, his eyes became extremely vicious. He did not expect that he would be injured by a human being, which is absolutely a shame. Shame is to be washed with blood. Kill, kill, kill. When a large number of Scorpion warriors heard the order, bloodthirsty light appeared in their eyes, and a killing sound was spit out in their mouths. They did not hesitate to kill the surrounding monks. These scorpion races, under the body of scorpions, move very fast, holding various weapons in their hands. There are two large scorpion pliers underneath, and scorpion tail behind. It can be described as a body full of weapons, everywhere. This culling rushed to the monks in an instant. These soldiers are all elites, one by one, in groups of 3 or 5. With the cooperation of each other, the deterrence brought out by them is extremely terrifying. On the spot, a monk died in the hands of the scorpion warrior. It was even torn to pieces by a scorpion clamp. Two scorpion warriors called towards Yi Tianxing. One wielded a spear and stabbed a shot at his chest. One was chopping up his neck with a bone knife. Between the shots, the tide is like tide. Court death. Yi Tianxing saw that there was a icy flash on his face. As soon as he reached out, he grabbed the spear that was bombarded in his hand, and then he shook his hand. A horrifying force immediately took the arm of the scorpion warrior, bursting, throwing the spear backhand. The soldier was too late to react, and he saw a flash of black light in front of him, his body flying in the air, his chest pierced by his own spear, and it flew out dozens of meters directly, nailed to the ground stiffly, and the power of terror, in the first time, the internal organs of his body were completely shattered into fragments. One hit kill. Then, a straight fist blasted at the bone blade knife that cut to himself. Ding ding ding. The fist collided with the bone blade sword. It was supposed to be a sword that broke the fist, but now it is showing a very scary picture. Under the fist, the bone blade sword made a terrible cracking sound. It was as if an egg smashed into a stone and broke instantly. Every inch collapsed. Boom! The fist smashed the sword, without flinching, and banged straight on the soldier's chest. Immediately, the armor of the scorpion warrior smashed and turned into countless fragments, and the force of terror burst into the body. On the spot, the entire body burst instantly. A fist went down and exploded into blood mist. Countless pieces of flesh flew. When he shot it, he was killed in a single blow and nothing fancy. The 90,000 jin of terror in the flesh was hit, let alone a flesh and blood body, a mountain peak would collapse. Falling on the scorpion warrior and being broken into pieces of flesh is simply as simple as that. When he broke through all methods, he was talking about the cultivator. What a violent force, even the scorpion man was broken into pieces of blood mist. How strong is your power? Yi Ziqiu saw that he almost fell off his chin. Originally, he wanted to take a shot, but KTN was moving his hands too fast. One shot killed two scorpion warriors. This game is too scary. Yi Tianxing's strength also caught the attention of most of the monks, www.novelhall.com, and even the scorpion monks. However, at this moment, no one noticed. During the assassination, the blood of the corpse that was constantly dying has soaked the ground, and these blood began to gather in a strange way toward the guillotine. It was as if a mysterious force on the guillotine was attracting these blood. Blood appeared near the guillotine, spread quickly, appeared on it, and continued to spread toward the guillotine like a ***** monster. On the guillotine, a hint of ***** halo emerged unknowingly. A stream of blood gathered in the center of the guillotine and gathered towards the ghost head. When he touched the ghost-headed sword, the ghost head on the blade seemed to laugh. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 273, Guillotine. Valentine's Day. I wish all lovers finally become dependents. Happy Valentine's Day. Close black lens bracket. Quack. A strange laugh came out of the ghost-headed sword. This laughter, in the battlefield of slaughter, seemed strangely abrupt, very harsh, making people have a kind of chill from the bottom of my heart. That feeling is really terrible. There was cold coming out of the soles of the feet. What is it? Who is laughing so much? It's weird, I feel my whole heart is starting to get cold. It seems like I'm suddenly in the ghostly ghost. A monk's face changed greatly, and he felt an ominous breath spreading fast. This is not normal. The rivalry stopped unconsciously. They looked in the direction of the laughter. Look back at the guillotine one by one. This look cannot help but reveal the color of horror and surprise. It's a guillotine, blood. Why is there so much blood on the guillotine? No, look at the corpses. All the corpses have become dry corpses. The blood in the body seems to be completely drained. It was sucked in by the guillotine. However, even if the blood of all the corpses is dried, it is not possible to cover the entire guillotine. How is this going? Look at the ghost-headed sword. The ghost-headed sword is laughing. The laughter comes from the ghost-headed sword. Very weird, this is definitely a murderous knife. Blood is the guide. Use blood to open the front. Quote. Blood, it has such a strong ***** smell. This is issued from the guillotine. This guillotine is too terrible. I don't know how many people's blood was bathed. Obviously it has been dyed red for a long time, but it has been hidden in the years. Attracted by fresh blood, it reappeared. Quote. After seeing it, a monk almost got cold all over his body, His face turned pale, and he could feel a horrible chill from the guillotine. He seemed to be able to hear countless ghosts moaning and screaming. The sound is disturbing. Can feel that this is absolutely a peerless murderer. Fierce enough to kill any creature. This is no longer a simple guillotine, a ghost-headed sword, but a peerless creature that was truly conceived by the power of feng shui and heaven. It's so strong, it's never been seen before. Yi Zhichu's eyes showed a touch of fear. Peerless creature, he felt a strong unknown. Good knife, let me capture this fierce knife and dedicate it to the patriarch. I will sacrifice it to the demon lord. A scorpion warrior stood under the guillotine, seeing the terrifying horror that was emanating from it, and was terribly fierce. With excitement in his eyes, he immediately rushed to the guillotine. Swipe. The scorpion warrior had just stepped on the guillotine, and immediately saw that a chain of blood-colored iron emerged from the guillotine out of nowhere and drilled out like a snake, restraining the soldier. The body of the scorpion, one leg and one foot, even the scorpion tail, were bound by the blood-colored iron chain and suppressed on the guillotine. Like the mule tied, the repressed body could not move. Decisive. A cold voice emerged from the guillotine. With this voice came to an end. Inserted on the guillotine, no one can pull out the ghost-headed sword, and the sky flew up, appearing behind the soldier, as if an invisible hangman was holding the ghost-headed sword. The blade flashed. A light flashed over the decapitation. I saw on the spot that the scorpion warrior had been severed by the head. Separate his head. A beam of blood spurted from his neck. On the spot fell on the guillotine. Gollum. Then, weird things appeared in front of me. The severed head was directly submerged into the guillotine and disappeared. A stream of blood was drawn out and submerged into the guillotine. The corpse dissipated at a speed visible to the naked eye, leaving only no head bones. Flesh and blood has disappeared, leaving only a sacral bone without a head. It was as if the prisoner had been sentenced to death, executed on the spot, and beheaded. Guillotine, ghost head knife. People come on stage, head off. All of this is a long story, but it's just a blink of an eye. An elite scorpion warrior at the level of Shanghai realm, from the top to the guillotine to death, but one or two can't breathe and completely die. This picture, really pretty scary. Many people have had too little time to react, and it is completely over. Swipe. Immediately after, I saw that on the guillotine, blood-stained iron chains appeared out of thin air, sweeping across the vicinity like lightning. No, these blood-colored chains are weird. Don't keep them close to your body. It's a guillotine. This guillotine wants to kill. The guillotine has seen blood. This is a murderous thing. It will never give up. It will continue to kill. Dodge and hurry back. No, I'm bound by this blood-colored iron chain. Come and save me. Who will save me? These blood-colored iron chains appeared very abruptly, and they suddenly fell, leaving many people too late to dodge. Immediately tied by the scarlet iron chain, and quickly pulled them towards the guillotine. There are humans and scorpion warriors. Most of them are scorpion warriors. They had previously wanted to occupy the guillotine, with the largest number of fighters near the guillotine. Naturally pulled up the first time. Someone resisted. Wielding his weapon, he wanted to cut off the blood-colored iron chain that bound him, but he didn't know what the blood-colored iron chain was. It was very tough and flexible. The blade was cut on it, not only flexible, but also like golden iron, burst out Mars. Falling on it, there is no end to it. Even if you cut a little bit, you will recover quickly in the blood. Monk. Yi Tianxing's eyes flickered, and he saw that Lu Zishan was also locked by several iron chains and pulled towards the guillotine. The steps were wrong, the body rushed out like a streamer, the light flashed in his hand, and the bronze war spear was held in his hand. Between the arms, the battle spear was empty. Ding ding ding. In 3 successive sounds, the war spear stabbed on the blood-colored iron chain, and huge power broke out from the war spear, causing the blood-colored iron chain to break. Lu Ji, dragged into the air, fell deep. It's a fierce spear, Brother Yi, thank you for your help. The flower monk fell to the ground with a dread in his eyes. That blood-colored iron chain was too weird. His convenience fell on it, and there was no way to completely cut it off, and the opened mouth was restored as soon as possible. Unless the chain is broken at one time, otherwise, it will be cut forever. The spears just looked simple, but the pure jade spears contained in it, combined with strong physical strength, could break the blood-colored iron chain. Otherwise, it would be difficult to cut off. Decisive. These are long to say, but in the blink of an eye. Those blood-colored iron chains have brought no less than 20 bodies to the guillotine. Among them, scorpion warriors occupy 13 or 4. One blood-colored iron chain has restrained the body and suppressed it. There is no way to move. Suppressed on the guillotine, as if a death row prisoner was about to die. Puff, puff, puff. The ghost-headed sword flew up again in the air, appearing behind a human scorpion warrior who was suppressed on the guillotine. One by one, the blood flashed and the head rolled. Each knife was sharp and clear. The flash of the knife caused the skull to be cut off. Then the skull was swallowed by the guillotine and disappeared. The flesh and blood on the guillotine became more intense and bright. Everyone only saw the knife light flashing on the guillotine. Blood shines like a fountain. The ***** breath rose into the sky, causing a shudder of invisible shudder. My dear, my monk almost chopped his head. The evil guillotine, this thing, is full of evil. I can feel that this thing, bloodthirsty, all the people who are close will be caught on the guillotine and beheaded. And, bathing in blood, the breath on the guillotine is constantly getting stronger. The more you kill, the more terrible it will be. Quote. Seeing the flower monk, she couldn't help but feel her head, and she was scared after she gave birth. Being caught up will really be beheaded. It's dead without a head, not everyone is tortured. Back, keep back. Both human monks and scorpion warriors are subconsciously backing away. Avoid the guillotine as far as possible. This thing is too evil. Those monks caught up could not even resist, and their heads were cut off. Instinctively created a fear of this guillotine. Swipe. But just when everyone was avoiding the guillotine, after the monk blades beheaded all the monks, the blood flashed on the guillotine, and **** figures continued to emerge from the guillotine. Blood, headless ghost. There are a lot of them, all of them have no heads. They are full of resentment, so bad, go quickly, go quickly. This is a sharp ghost suppressed in the guillotine. Headless blood ghost. Seeing the figure appearing from above, many monks were shocked on the spot, and their eyes could not help showing fear. It's not an ordinary spooky ghost, it's a blood ghost, or the most scary headless blood ghost. In the legend, blood ghosts are one of the most terrifying types of fierce ghosts. Not only fierce ghosts, but also blood bodies, can change between reality and reality. Once they are injured by blood ghosts, their blood will be sucked away. Flutter, flutter on your body, the whole body's blood will be swallowed up. In the slaughter, it is very strange. The resentment of headless blood ghosts will make their power even more terrifying. Quote. Yi Ziqiu knew these things clearly, www.novelhall.com. When he saw that his face changed greatly, he also quickly explained to Yi Tianxing. Give me back. Man screamed terribly. His hands turned into cricket blood claws, which were extremely sharp. Some held scarlet weapons directly. As soon as he appeared, he felt the breath of life, and he did not hesitate to get rid of it from the guillotine. All the blood shadows passed, and the headless blood has appeared in the crowd and entered the scorpion warrior. What? In the scream, a scorpion warrior waved his sword at the ***** ghost, but the **** ghost's body was weird and smashed onto him without hindrance, and his body dried up at a speed visible to the naked eye. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote, your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 274, Killer. That picture is quite scary. The whole body's blood was drained, swallowed up, and completely vanished. Killed on the spot. Kill. The blood ghost was too fast, and he wanted to avoid it. It was too late. He could only see the shadow of blood flashing, and someone's arm was torn by blood light. Suddenly, the entire arm began to dry and shrink, and the blood inside was sucked dry. All life seemed to be taken away. Someone wielded a weapon and chopped it on the **** ghost. The weapon contains true energy, but although the true energy can break through the body of the **** ghost, it is healed in the blink of an eye. The wounds are not visible at all, and their heads have been broken. Not to the point. The change between reality and reality is invincible. Even the true essence of the body was forcibly torn by the blood ghost. The attack power is not only powerful, but also weird. Puff. A blade of light flashed, only to see that the sword in the hands of the black swordsman came out of the sheath, and the sharp sword was chopped on a blood ghost, and the blood ghost immediately saw the sun like a snowflake in summer, sending out weird the sound of crickets. The body was split, the sharp sword, completely cut off the body, followed by natural dissipation, and vanished. Completely annihilated. The true meaning of martial arts can slay the blood ghosts. A monk saw and shouted immediately. Unfortunately, Few monks understand the true meaning of martial arts. There is no true meaning of martial arts, and by virtue of anger alone, if you want to deal with blood ghosts, it is obviously a little bit worse. Unless it is able to awaken life. Attack with magical powers. It is possible to cause damage to the blood ghost. Look at me burning you to death. A monk dressed as a priest, looking at the blood ghosts that swept through, revealed a fierce, waved hand, and a flame rose to the ground, turning into a fireball, bombarding the blood ghost. Boom! The flame fell on the blood ghost, and suddenly, the blood ghost made a scream, and his body was ignited, but the blood flow on his body seemed to extinguish the flame directly. It was as if blood and water were tumbling in collisions, and the flames continued to disappear and became smaller. Among the monks, there are not a few who are awakening to life. After discovering that magical powers can cause damage to blood ghosts, they displayed their magical powers. Even if you can't kill them quickly, you can effectively resist the invasion of blood ghosts. The Scorpion clan also has the means. They emit a weird black mist, and the scorpion tail behind them keeps waving, which can have a great deal of lethality to the blood ghost. But there are too many blood ghosts. A steady stream emerged from the guillotine. Scorpion warriors were killed and other monks died. The blood ghosts swept through, like a ***** tide. There are too many. At first it was hundreds, and immediately it was thousands. Dense, all headless blood. No matter who it is, there is a feeling of despair. Faced with such a huge headless blood ghost, let alone the Shanghai realm, even the Fateful realm, or even the real-life realm, will retreat, seeing that it is far better to avoid it. These are the headless blood ghosts who were killed on the guillotine and those of the minion slaves and artisans beheaded by the guillotine. They have been controlled by the guillotine and become part of the guillotine. This time it was really dead deal. Yi Ziqiu saw that there was a look of despair on his face, and then he squeezed out his formula and issued a drink, Heaven and Earth Spirits, Exorcism of Demons. Between the words, suddenly, a golden token appeared in front of me. On this token, a mysterious texture emerged. On the front and back, the ancient fonts of Ghost and Exorcism respectively appeared. On this token, the mysterious power Dao Yun is emitted. Minute, make a stop drinking again. The demon exorcism order was instantly divided into 3 identical orders, but the light and the rhyme emitted from it were weakened a lot. Brush. The exorcism of exorcising ghosts made lightning strikes towards the 3 blood ghosts who were culling. Bang bang. The 3 demons and exorcisms struck the blood ghost straight, emitting a bright golden light. The blood ghost in the golden light seemed to be screamed with sulfuric acid, and the blood light on his body continued to disperse. Flying backwards, the blood on his body became extremely dim. There seemed to be signs of collapse at any time. The golden light vandalized in the body. This contains the power of exorcism from Gangjiang. Ordinary sharp ghosts were hit by the exorcism order of exorcism. I was afraid that the shape would be scattered on the spot and the fly ash would be destroyed. Yin and Yang lock, Yin and Yang ring, suppression. Yi Tianxing saw a large number of blood ghosts sweeping in, and did not fear, he calmly uttered a voice. 9 Yin and Yang locks flashed out of nowhere, and quickly disintegrated into a Yin and Yang ring, swept across a large number of blood ghosts. Each one became extremely huge, and when the head was in the Yin and Yang ring, he put it on the body, blooming black and white light. Keep the blood ghosts completely inside. Ding ding ding. The blood on the blood ghost's body was so excited that he smashed the Yin and Yang rings into small pieces. The power of a Yin and Yang ring cannot suppress these blood ghosts. Yin and Yang lock, suppress. After frowning slightly, Yi Tianxing spoke again and spit out a voice. 9 Yin and Yang locks reunited, and swept across the 9 ***** ghosts like a pilly. Wow! This time bound by the Yin and Yang lock, the blood on the blood ghost instantly became dim, and the power on his body seemed to be suppressed by the imprisonment, tied and pulled out, disappeared in midair, and had been drawn into the eyes of Yin and Yang, suppress among the innate Yin and Yang gods. Subsequently, the 9 Yin-Yang locks reappeared, sweeping across the blood ghosts. As long as they were restrained, these blood ghosts were immediately suppressed and pulled into the eyes of Yin and Yang. Great, what magical power is this, that they can restrain these blood ghosts? When Yi Ziqiu saw it, he couldn't help but feel a shock and asked curiously. 2 Taoists, there are too many of these blood ghosts. I see that there is an iron cable in front, which can directly lead to the opposite side. Where should I go deep into the grave and escape from here? The flower monk glanced around and saw an iron cable suspended to connect to another area. These blood ghosts are too many and leave as soon as possible. Yi Tianxing nodded in agreement. These blood ghosts are obviously more fierce than others. If you swarm, not everyone can handle it. Maybe I will die here. If he is alone, he is not afraid. With the strength of congenital yin and yang eyes, he is enough to protect himself, and even suppress a large number of blood ghosts to make his own heritage stronger. But he was not alone. Leaving here is the only option. Wow, some monks have discovered that the iron cable leads to the opposite side. Without even thinking about it, someone has not hesitated to start walking on the iron chain and ran towards the opposite side at an astonishing speed. When you step on the chain, you can make a crisp sound. You go first. I'm blocked here. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and said quickly. Okay, let's go first, and you will come later. There are too many blood ghosts. Don't rely on your magical powers to restrain the ghosts. You can't kill them. Yi Ziqiu agreed decisively. There is no time to shirk each other. Among the three, Yi Tianxing's strength is obviously the strongest, and there are magical powers to restrain blood ghosts. In this blink of an eye, dozens of blood ghosts were suppressed and disappeared strangely. This method is very powerful. After he decides, it is obviously the most sensible choice. Changing Yi Ziqiu and Hua Monk can't stop it. The most important thing is that Yi Tianxing doesn't want to give up this great opportunity to suppress and plunder the ghosts. The blood ghosts were suppressed in the space of yin and yang, and were quickly worn away by the congenital yin and yang divine figure, and the power of the source was tempered into the yin and yang lock, yin and yang scissors, yin and yang mirror, and the three supernatural powers were tempered. Well, someone is crossing the blood ghosts. Who is this? When Yi Tianxing retreated to the position of the iron cable, he looked subconsciously towards the guillotine. This look could not help but produce a strong shock in his heart. See only, in the blood ghost group. I don't know when there was a young man wearing a black brocade with a long jade-colored sword on his back. This man appeared in the group of blood ghosts. What the headless blood ghosts felt like, I don't know why, one after another did not dare to approach them, and within 3 feet of him, there was a blank space. The blood ghost was shaking. It was a fear, an invisible fear. It was as if instinctual fear came from encountering natural enemies. Naturally want to avoid on both sides. Moreover, as the young man walked forward, without taking a step, blood ghosts quickly evaded, splitting a path stiffly, allowing him to pass through without hindrance. Who is this and when did he show up? In the blood ghost group, why did those blood ghosts not attack him? Those ***** ghosts seem to be in fear, the **** ghosts around him seem to be shaking. What's going on? Is this a peerless powerhouse? Look, he's walking towards the guillotine. What is he going to do? Do you want to suppress the guillotine, or do you want to go up and die? Who is this, who has never heard of it before? Many monks also found the man in the blood ghost group. This man's behavior in the blood ghost group is really amazing, as if it is a standing chicken group. You reading www. Uakanshu.com is hard to notice without notice. It seems that the whole group of blood ghosts felt a strange atmosphere, and even started to retreat, shrinking back towards the guillotine again. All the blood ghosts sank into the guillotine. Just as they appeared, they disappeared at an alarming rate. Unconsciously, the tide-like blood ghosts have disappeared. Boom! The man came under the guillotine, and his right foot suddenly stepped on the ground. The whole body jumped on it immediately, and landed on the guillotine. The guillotine, ghost head, this is the world of the executioner. A voice came out of the man's mouth. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote, your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 275, Chengxian Tomb. For subscription recommendations, some come with 2. Close black lens bracket. I'm an executioner, and I should be a guillotine. But I don't need a ghost knife, a black knife is enough. The young man stepped on the guillotine. It was strange to say that on the guillotine, nothing harmed him at all, no blood-colored iron chain appeared, and the ghost-headed sword did not fly to cut off his skull. Instead it seemed extremely calm. It's as if the original scenes were hallucinations. How could this be? The guillotine did not pose any threat to him. Not only did he not suppress him, but severed his head, but instead stood on it. He was the owner of the guillotine. This is too weird. Many monks saw with surprise in their eyes. He is an executioner. Those blood ghosts died under the executioner's ghost knife. Therefore, after death, he will have an instinctive fear of the executioner, as if he encountered a natural enemy. Let those bloodies automatically evade and retreat. Return to the guillotine. Quote. Some monks have guessed the identity of the man. Not surprisingly, it was definitely an executioner, dedicated to beheading people. A powerful deterrent will be produced against headless blood. Although the ghost-headed sword is a murder weapon, it is only a knife in the executioner's hand in the face of the executioner. He was born close to the executioner. Therefore, the ghost-headed sword did not attack the man because he was a killer. Ghost-headed knives need to be held in the hands of the executioner in order to exert the power of Zeon. However, the man obviously did not mean to directly control the ghost-headed sword. Instead, he reached out and pulled out the ink knife behind him, which was a jade knife. I do and know how to polish it. The ink knife has no front, but it is a deadly threat. Ding! The ink knife was inserted straight next to the ghost knife. After the ghost-headed sword was discovered, it immediately quit. This is the dove's nest, and the politely uncle sent out a ****** knife light. It is necessary to cut off the ink knife directly to show his own edge. Let this man know he is the most perfect ghost knife. The most powerful murderer. Ding! However, the blood-colored knife light was chopped on the ink knife, and the ink knife was like a bottomless hole, a dry sponge, and naturally swallowed the knife light, disappeared, and at the same time, a trace of blood appeared on the ink knife light, passing out an invisible engorgement from the mouth of the ghost's blood knife, directly pulled out a ***** knife gas. Seems to plunder the origin of the ghost-headed sword. Quack! The ghost-headed knives felt that their origins were being plundered, and they immediately became furious, bursting with strong blood, and instantly covered the ink knife completely. It can be seen that the ghost knife and the ink knife constantly collide in the blood, and it seems that they must devour each other. The dark sword will devour the ghost sword, and become the peerless murder knife on the guillotine. The ghost sword will destroy the dark sword, and prove to the executioner that he is the strongest murderer. The killing of the two swords caused the guillotine to vibrate fiercely, and the blood was soaring. Boom! The man frowned slightly when he saw it, but only raised his foot and stepped on the guillotine below him. At this step, the guillotine made a dull roar. That power made the guillotine completely sedated. However, he did not interfere in the confrontation between the two swords, the survival of the strong, the defeat of the weak. This is the best principle of heaven and earth. The most primitive rule is whoever wins, who is his future sword, decapitation. So powerful physical power, there is no less than the terrifying realm of Heiding Qi Ba Ming. He is a practitioner, and is a pure practitioner. All the cultivation is all on the physical body. Yi Tianxing saw the man's erupting force on the guillotine, and his eyes and pupils shrank violently. The sheer physical force and the destructive force produced by it were absolutely terrible. He was the first time to see such a pure practitioner. Because this man's body really doesn't have any qi, only the majestic qi and blood exist in the flesh and blood. Only the flesh does not practice qi. Few people do that. It seems that the executioner is the natural enemy of the guillotine. The guillotine is naturally restrained. No one can move this thing. Only the executioner can control it. If there are no other executioners here, the guillotine should recognize this monk as Lord. Yi Ziqiu stood beside the iron cable, his eyes turned and sighed. Those scorpion people have retracted underground. The faster we go, the sooner we go to the depths of the tomb, the greater our chance of getting the treasure. The flower monk also said. When the scorpion races saw a large number of blood ghosts, they decided on the spot to retreat to the ground, and even the original excavated hole was unceremoniously blocked. Obviously, they were afraid of being discovered by the blood ghosts and chasing after them. Now is the best time to cross the chains. Well, let's go. No one but this guillotine can control it. Yi Tianxing nodded and said decisively. This guillotine recognizes only the executioner. It doesn't help anyone to go. Only the executioner, and the top executioner, can suppress it. This thing is already the man's, no one can take it away. Even if you know it is a different treasure, you can only choose to leave. In this regard, Yi Tianxing did not care. He never thought that all the treasures in the world should recognize him as the master and be obtained by him. Accidents are always ubiquitous, impermanent, and never fixed. This executioner will definitely be a strong one in the future. Yi Tianxing thought secretly in his heart. However, without hesitation, he quickly walked down the opposite side of the cable. The iron cable straddles in the air. Ordinary people step on it. If the sense of balance is not good, they will fall on the spot and fall into flesh. It is difficult to cross, but for monks, as long as they have reached a certain level, they must cross it. It's not difficult. Keep your body intact and step out, it's a few feet away. If you are very light in kung fu, just tow a little, you can make a dozen feet away. There is no mystery to this iron cable. Soon someone crossed the iron cable and appeared on another huge platform. The platform was like a mountain peak rising from the ground, which was cut off by a sword. Into an isolated platform, but the position occupied is huge. The three of Yi Tianxing shuttled from the iron cable. Stand on the platform. It's better to cut off the iron cable and cut off the possibility of the scorpion people crawling along the iron cable. After some monks saw the tribal monks crossing the cable, they made a suggestion unceremoniously. It's not just suggestions. When he said it, he was already holding a sword and politely chopped it down at the iron cable. Ding ding ding. The long knife was cut on the iron cable, and a fierce Mars was poured out to infuse qi. The knife was undoubtedly as sharp as a soldier. But it fell on the iron cable, and I saw on the spot that on the long knife, the blade was directly chipped out of a gap. Even dense cracks appeared on the knife. At any time, it will break completely and break into pieces. There was a gap in the cable, leaving no marks at all. So tough iron wire. The monk who saw it couldn't help but take a breath. Such a tough iron wire is definitely not cast from ordinary materials. Let me do it. The flower monk screamed, and the handy shovel in his hand turned into a streamer, shoveling on the iron cable. A more intense sound came out. Mars is shining. Huge force bombarded the iron cable, not only did not cut the iron cable, but also caused the monk's arm to be blown out. Forced to collapse. Continuously chopped, this iron cable does not know what material it is cast from, it is too tough, and it is definitely not an ordinary material. With the strength of the monk, it is chopped continuously. The flower monk frowned slightly, and the tiger's mouth seemed to be cracking. This iron cable, in Shanghai, is difficult to be cut off. Look, here is a huge monument with text on it. It seems to be the origin and record of this big tomb. It was seen that a huge stele stood up on this platform. Someone saw it before, but found no text on it. With a shout, a monk gathered under the stele and watched. Yi Tianxing followed, and a text came into his eyes. Biography of Fairy Tomb, a monk exclaimed. Luan, the king of Huainan in the Han dynasty, loved the technique of the outside world, and admired the way of eternal life, especially Yuziden. By coincidence in childhood, he got the Immortal remnant prescription. To bring together many Taoist alchemist classics, secret mysteries, and study Dan Dao, I hope to emulate Qin Shi Huang and personally make immortals. Quote. Later, I gathered thousands of alchemists to study the way of immortality and the method of immortality. I heard that there are alternative ways of immortality in the world to build a tomb and gather the power of feng shui in heaven and earth. You can regenerate after death and live again. www.novelhall.com, Chengxian. In the end, while continuously refining the elixir and repairing the immortal. At the same time, the craftsmen of the husband and wife are selected to select the best feng shui treasures. The tombs are built. In order to prevent burglars from stealing the tombs, there are many fatal organs, once entered, will die a lifetime. Quote. In his later years, the kneeling mausoleum was completed, and he himself died. He entered the kneeling ling. He took away thousands of alchemists, tens of thousands of minion artisans, and many natural treasures. He entered the kneeling ling and continued to study Dan Road. Eventually, he developed Fei Xian Dan Fang. However, at that time, his body had begun to deteriorate, and he could no longer complete the process of refining Fei Xian Dan. Quote. It uses the secret method. The mausoleum feng shui is the fire, the mausoleum is the Dan furnace, the years is carbon, and the refining Fei Xian Dan. On the day of Dancheng, it can become a fairy. They are buried in the mausoleum. Chickens and dogs are buried. If they want to be immortals, they will rise to the sky. Quote. In order to prevent the leak of the tomb authorities kept it secret. King Huainan ordered his confidant, cast a guillotine, beheaded hundreds of thousands of minion artisans, beheaded and died, and pushed into the mass grave. The old decay escaped and hid in the tomb, knowing that the mausoleum has been sealed to death, time is running out, and special steel was cast to warn posterity. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to start vote, your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users please read. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 276, 9 Dragon Road. The ancient inscriptions inscribed on the stone tablet completely reveal who is at the tomb. Huainan King Luan, this is no ordinary person. Not only the royal family of the Han. It is also a thinker and writer of the Western Han dynasty. The Lisao biography written by him is the earliest work in China to highly evaluate Ku Yuan and his Lisao. He has recruited thousands of guest alchemists and compiled Hongli, also known as Huainanzi, which is an epoch-making academic masterpiece in the history of Chinese thought. Luan is the world's earliest practitioner of hot air ballooning and the founder of Chinese tofu. Especially the book, Huainanzi, has 21 inches inner chapters, 33 inches outer chapters, 2 inches Dao Xuan, more than 200,000 words. He has authored 82 poems, Huainan King Fu, 44 inches Future Minister's Fu, 4 inches Huainan Song Poems, Huainan Zaxingzi, 19 volumes, Huainan Wan Bai Shu. The content involves politics, philosophy, ethics, history, literature, economics, physics, chemistry, astronomy, geography, agriculture, water conservancy, medical health, and other fields. These works collectively embody Taoist ideas. It is also left a legend that one person could get to the sky. Obviously, the king of Huainan did not really rise, but entered the mausoleum by pseudo-death. Those legends were just a message to the illusion caused by his pseudo-death. However, according to what is now said on the stele, the king of Huainan not only did not die at first, but instead entered the tomb and continued to study Dan Dao. He also madly came up with the power of feng shui of the tomb to gather the heavens and the earth to make it into an elixir. Let yourself be immortal, and live forever. Not to mention, just being an elixir is an immeasurable wealth for any monk. This gem is enough to make any monk crazy. A golden dance swallowed into the belly, I was killed by me. That is elixir. This is a great step forward. As long as you can capture the elixir, you may be able to leap into a strong one, a truly powerful one. Have the foundation and qualifications to stand on the eternal continent. Great, Chengxiandan turned out to be the tomb of King Huainan. According to legend, the king of Huainan became the immortal, the chicken and dog ascended to the sky and suddenly disappeared. Even the chickens and wives in the family disappeared. I did not expect to enter the tomb. Chengxiandan, there really is Chengxiandan, or the elixir that has evolved from the immortal elixir of immortality, it must be peerless. If I can get it, wouldn't I be able to ascend to heaven in one step? Some monks have been shrouded in ecstasy. No one can resist the desire to become immortal. Even if it was Yi Tianxing, at this moment, a strong desire was born. There is a strong curiosity. Huainan king could even use this method to make Chengdan. This ingenuity is incredible. The most important thing now is whether Chengxiandan has succeeded, and if it has succeeded, has it been swallowed by King Huainan? If not successful, what kind of level has it reached? Also, the Feixian vision that I saw before is the one that was born after Feixiandan was successfully bred. The treasure here is really Feixiandan, or another treasure. These things flashed quickly in my mind. Good guy, King Huainan has really succeeded. It's incredible, the monk Hua secretly whispered. Feixiandan, if you eat it, will you really be able to ascend to the sky in one step and become an immortal? Yi Ziqiu also showed horror. Immortality has been legend since ancient times. But whether it is true or not has always been a legend. No one has ever seen it or been confirmed. Now it is possible to appear in front of the eyes. This shock is absolutely incalculable. Look, there are words at the back. Someone pointed at the stele. Kowloon Road, there are many bones on Chengxian Road. Baghuatai, if you want to go forward, it is difficult to return. The 7-star coffin, the yin and yang reverse the burial of the star officer, the yin and yang furnace, and the path of the elixir is refined. On the reverse side of the stele, there is also a block of text engraved. However, this text seems a little different from the positive handwriting, exuding a deterrent breath. It makes people feel chilling. This does not seem to be left by the monumenter, there are others left. This should be a description of this mausoleum. According to it, it is really dangerous. However, what it means is hard to understand now. Yi Tianxing looked at the text, his eyes flashed a touch of contemplation. Come on, there are 9 floating roads leading to other locations. Should the Kowloon Road mentioned on the stele refer to 9 roads? These 9 roads seem to lead to different places. Some monks have seen that behind the stele, in a layer of fog, 9 long, floating long paths appear in front of the eyes, connecting this platform. I was blocked by the monument before, but I haven't found it yet. Now, turning to the back of the monument, I can see 9 floating roads crossing the void. The pictures are very shocking, I really don't know how these are cast. It can be seen from a distance that these 9 roads lead to independent platforms. On these platforms, you can see majestic palaces. Give off a majestic air. Obviously, these roads lead to different palaces. To reach, you can only step on these floating roads. Great, this is Kowloon Road. It must be a treasure trove in the mausoleum. According to the stele, there were many people who lived here for a long time at the time and will definitely leave a lot treasure. You can only choose one of the 9 roads at a time. Unfortunately, I don't know at all what these 9 roads lead to. Some monks said, secretly shaking their heads. No matter which one, try it first, but this is a large tomb. No one knows what traps there are. Let's explore the road first. A young man who looked very smart picked up a stone in his hand and came to before a road. Immediately, the stone was rolled towards the first road. Boom, crackling, the stone rolled on the road, and immediately saw that on the seemingly inconspicuous road, suddenly a bright light of thunder shot out, the thunder and lightning shot out, bombarded the stone, and blasted the stone on the spot, broken into pieces and fried. All of a sudden, the entire road was covered by countless lightning bolts. Looks startling. In this scene, many monks who had originally planned to embark on the 9 roads changed their faces on the spot and took a breath. Sure enough, there is a trap, but there will be a thunder and lightning. What is the road? It is a joke to walk past the thunder and lightning. When you walk up, you will be hacked by thunder. It is scary, a monk exclaimed, secretly. This road is not an ordinary road. Fire. This road is a flame, and it will emit a terrible flame. Some monks also tried other roads with stones. As soon as they were thrown, the ground burst into flames. The temperature, standing nearby, seemed to ignite even the hair. This is an ice tunnel. The stone was thrown over and it was frozen directly. It was terrible. Immediately, other monks exclaimed. The power in each path is different. Bringing them together is 9 paths full of death. Lightning, ice, flames, poisonous water, thorns, blades, gravity. Cloudy, dark. Each road has different characteristics. No one is easy to shuttle. All this made every monk helplessly mourn on the spot. Normal people, who dare to easily walk into the thunderbolt and step into the fire. Each one can be killed on the spot. This is the road to death. The absolute road to death. It really deserves the tomb of King Wainan. It really isn't that simple to think about it. How do you plan to choose which road? Anyway, now no one knows what the end of the road is, you can choose either. Yi Ziqiu turned eyes, asked Yi Tianxing. To pass, naturally the 3 of them passed together. Now I don't know what palace is opposite. I don't have to choose which one. The only question is how to get there, which one is more certain. This Kowloon road is not easy to deal with without a strip. The safest thing is gravity. Gravity should be increased in order. Maybe there is a chance to return. However, gravity falls on the body and crushes it. Instead, it was passed directly to the 5 internal organs and the 6 internal organs. Once they could not bear it, the internal organs would burst directly and suffered irreparable damage. Quote. Yi Tianxing looked at Julong Road seriously. Each one was not simple, and there was no absolute strength. It just depends on who is more confident in resisting which kind of power. Anyway, you saved my monk's life, so you can choose it. Anyway, Dao Shanhuahai walks with you. Hua monk waved without hesitation and said that he had no patience for this choice, and handed over power. In the hands of Yi Tianxing. Like a lightning storm, Yi Tianxing took a deep breath, and there was a firmness in his eyes. Flatly choose the first Kowloon road. It can also be said that this is a Thunder Dragon road. Just step on www.novelhall.com, that is the terrible picture of thousands of thunders. It is possible to die under the thunder at any time. Choose Thunder Dragon Road. Yi Ziqiu heard, his face was a little dark. I thought Yi Tianxing would choose a relatively easy one, but I did not expect that a choice would be such a horrible path at first glance. How do you feel? A bit pitted? Don't think again. The flower monk was also a little irritated. Humans, or most life between heaven and earth, have a kind of instinct for thunder. Subconsciously wants to avoid. Man is born with a fear of thunder. In fact, Thunder Road is not much different from other roads. Since you have to choose, it is better to choose to overcome fear. As long as you can cross Thunder Road, you will face thunder in the future. It will not regenerate fear, and it will be of great help in the future in the face of thunder. Quote. Yi Tianxing didn't change his mind, he said. Chapter 277, Na Thunder Supernatural Powers. For subscription recommendation, monthly pass. Close black lens bracket. The faces of Yi Ziqiu and the flower monk were constantly changing. But in a moment it was replaced by a hint of firmness. Brother Yi is right, the practice is to go against the sky. If you see thunder and lightning now, you will be afraid, and you will be weak in the face of the lands and mines that you cannot avoid. 3 points. This is not okay. Just go to Thunder Dragon Road. Flower Monk's face was horizontal, holding the handy shovel, and gritted her teeth. Yes, we went up together and didn't believe this Thunder Dragon Road could really kill me, Yi Ziqiu. Yi Ziqiu nodded and agreed. Go ahead to dangers. It takes a lot of courage. At the moment when the decision was made, the Flower Monk and Yi Ziqiu clearly felt that their own hearts seemed to be clearer. It seemed that there was dust covering it, but now it has been cleaned up. That feeling was so wonderful that the whole soul was emitting joy. Something that could not be understood at first became suddenly cheerful at this moment, with a feeling of great joy. Shu Waidu seems to have a breakthrough transformation. Let's go in. Yi Tianxing nodded with a smile, and the two of them knew each other a little. As long as they can understand clearly, they will definitely become strong in the future. Slap. Moving at his feet, he walked straight towards Lilong Road, and the two monks immediately followed. The moment the footsteps fell on the Thunder Dragon Road, in the road under his feet, a light of lightning flashed like a horse, shot out, turned into lightning, and swept across his body. There was a crackling noise. Who is this, dare to take the Thunder Dragon Road? Good guy. It turned out that 3 people were walking together. The thunder above Thunder Road is not a joke. It is very powerful, this is one of the most terrible forces in the world. I know him. The one who walks in front of me seems to be the Lord of Xuanwang Town, Yi Tianxing, who was just him. He broke up the flesh of a scorpion warrior as soon as he shot, and when he faced the blood ghost, he was able to perform the black iron plus C chain will suppress the blood ghosts and kill them. The means are very powerful, a combat force, and very powerful. It is no wonder that he dared to take the Thunder Dragon Road. Quote. Someone recognized Yi Tianxing's identity, and couldn't help exclaiming. Don't look at the battles just a few times before, but Yi Tianxing's combat power revealed when he shot, still makes people look secretly. Branded in my mind, it cannot be ignored. Good overbearing thunder and lightning. When stepping on, thunder and lightning hit on the body, even if it was Yi Tianxing, the body shivered and trembled continuously, which was the process that the thunder and lightning directly penetrated into the body and shuttled and destroyed in the flesh. These thunder and lightning bombarded the body, causing no less destructive power than the top-level Shanhai monk's full attack. The destructive power is particularly amazing. If there is no way to get rid of it, that feeling is absolutely painful. It will be hit in an instant. Such a thunder is more powerful than the thunder robberies previously experienced at the martial arts assembly, but it lacks a trace of robberies. The two are incompatible. For many monks, such an attack is absolutely fatal. Even if it doesn't die, it will peel off. Ding ding ding. However, while these thunderbolts penetrated into the body and into the flesh, within heading, he immediately transmitted a powerful phasic force, and unceremoniously swept the thunder and lightning on the surface of the body like a whale sucking water. Submerged into the black tripod, forcibly swallowed by the purple giant egg in the tripod, disappeared into it, disappeared, without even a trace of ripples, as if drilling into a bottomless pit. Many people have seen that after the thunder and lightning hit Yi Tianxing, the thunder and lightning disappeared strangely. Yi Tianxing, standing on Lilong Road, had no damage at all. It seemed that the lightning that had just fallen on him was just an illusion. He Ding is cultivating physical powers. Now he is directly consuming the power of thunder and lightning. Is it true that thunder and lightning are the nutrients for cultivating magic powers? Yi Tianxing felt that he could not help secretly wondering. Vaguely felt as if a Vajrayosaurus was dancing its trunk and devouring thunder and lightning. Moreover, as that thunderbolt was devoured, more and more runes emerged from the purple giant eggs. Vaguely, the speed of incarnation of the physical supernatural power accelerated a little. Thunder and lightning contain destruction and creation. Can the power of thunder and lightning help the birth of physical powers? Whether it is or not, as long as it can devour the power of thunder and lightning, it will be enough for me to walk through Thunder Dragon Road without hindrance. Yi Tianxing's mind quickly flashed various ideas, intertwined. No more fear of Thunder Dragon Road. Stepping on it, thunder and lightning continued to bombard the body. There was a thunderbolt shooting from the road underneath, and most of them descended from the sky, directly bombarding their heads and falling on their bodies. What kind of magical power is this? Even the thunderbolt that bombarded me was sucked by you. Is there a mistake? Yi Ziqiu also stepped on Lilong Road. The electric light emitted from the bottom of the foot was directly drilled into the body along the feet. This is real, it can't be avoided, the body is shaking, the entire body of the hair is turned upside down, and the entire head becomes a broom head. But the lightning that fell on his head was just approaching, as if attracted by any kind of attraction, and suddenly turned in the air and blasted towards Yi Tianxing. It is only necessary to deal with the electric light under the feet. This situation is better than facing the overwhelming thunder. Even the thunder and lightning that invades the body can be resisted by infuriating air, and a true body of protection emerges from the body. It can make 30 to 40% of the power of thunder and lightning be blocked out and fall on the body, which is completely bearable. This thunder is really powerful, I feel the bones are about to crumble. It is strong, but it can support it. The flower monk also said. His physical body is not weak, and his resistance to the thunder is stronger. At the same time, looking at Yi Tianxing also became very weird, able to resist the thunder, and even suck the thunder from the sky halfway, and landed on the body. Even if he was not severely hit on the spot, the body is like a bottomless pit, as long as the thunderbolt falls on the body, it disappears. This picture is really shocking. It was as if bathed in thunder completely, like a asterisk of thunder. Wan Lei follows with each other while walking. Fast, I was absorbing the thunder and turning it into nutrients. I can feel that as long as the power of the thunder is enough, maybe the next time, the physical power will be fully nurtured. Yi Tianxing stepped forward step by step. On the surface of the flesh, a layer of precious light appeared. Heiding Juming's practice is as follows. When a general attack falls on his body, he will be smashed by the shock, breaking all methods. This is the case of the immortal body. This thunder and lightning can't cause real damage to him. Regardless of how much, he was swallowed by Heiding. Every time I consume a thunder, I can feel that the source of magical power contained in the purple giant egg increases by 1 point and becomes more powerful. This increase in origin is absolutely rare. In general, the stronger the source, the more powerful the supernatural power that it has bred, the more powerful it is. The potential will be even greater. How is this possible? Great, no wonder, it is no wonder that Xuanwang Town can be established on the Eternal Continent. Many forces are now only villages, and he has become a town. Sure enough, all of this is more than luck. I don't know if Xuanwang Town will not accept people. After this time, if you find a place to temporarily settle down, Xuanwang Town is very good. There are a lot of new things in it, maybe it can develop. Many monks were stunned when they saw it. Various thoughts came to mind. Many people have secretly planned that after leaving the tomb this time, as long as they can survive, they must go to Xuanwang Town, or even settle down. Whether or not a power has developed depends on how strong the power's master is, its wrists, and its courage. We can calculate 1 or 2. People are social creatures. Relying on strong forces and surviving in stable forces are the most anticipated. Rumble. In the thunder, Yi Tianxing kept walking forward. In Heidingzong, a steady stream of thunder was swept in, making Dingzong boil completely. On the purple giant egg, countless mysterious runes are flashing, and the origin is rapidly growing. Vaguely, a Vajra dragon roared. 4 immense elephant columns suppressed the 4 poles of heaven and earth. Countless mysterious blood messages gathered. The mammoth blood was rolling. Suddenly, it seems that the magical powers bred in Heiding have reached the limit. The purple giant egg burst into endless light. This giant egg, like an egg, suddenly burst into pieces. At the moment of fragmentation, we can see that in the giant egg, countless mysterious runes have gathered together in a mysterious way. Turned into a golden seal. The seal of King Kong is condensed on the seal. Seems to growl in the sky. Lifelike. It looks like a really ancient King Kong long dragon appears in the heavens and earth. www.novelhall.com. Once this ancient seal came out, the purple fragments formed after the giant eggs were broken have converged and integrated into the ancient seal. Make this ancient seal like real. Exuding an ancient atmosphere. Like magic weapons, there is a treasure light flowing. Under the ancient seal, 2 mysterious ancient urns are engraved impressively, Junjun. Supernatural powers seal of the prison. In a flash, these messages had appeared in Yi Tianxing's mind, and he knew all the mysteries of this supernatural power instinctively. Through the power of blood, my own martial arts, physical background, and Vajrayana elephant power. Purple River Car. With thunder as a nutrient, a physical power such as Junyan seal has been bred. I can feel that it comes from Jani, and the mighty power of India can suppress everything with a single thought, even asterisk 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 will be suppressed by one seal. It will never be turned over. Legend has it that the Vajrayasaurus itself is an ancient ferocious animal that suppresses purgatory. It has infinite power and can suppress hell. Quote, endless joy emerged from Yi Tianxing's heart. The birth of physical powers instantly transformed a battle force into a huge one. Chapter 278, Xuanzhen Temple. For subscription recommendations, come with tickets. Close black lens bracket. This town seal is not just an attack on an ancient seal. In ancient Indian form, it is the most powerful attack method. However, it is still possible to display a part of the magical power, which is part of the magical power of the prison. It has not only the power to suppress asterisk 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 in the heavens, but also the imprisonment of heaven and earth. The second kind is repression. This ancient seal was born on the basis of the Vajra dragon elephant. Contained in it is the Wolverine dragon that suppresses all terrorist forces like a dragon. It can not only possess its own terrorist power, but also increase the power of Yi Tianxing itself. Today, magical powers have just emerged. Even if the source is extremely strong, it can still only double. This double refers to Yi Tianxing's own physical strength. It's even true, can increase. The physical strength now is 90,000 catties. Once the town jail seal is displayed, the force that erupts in the town jail seal will be 180,000 kilograms. Moreover, this does not include the power of true energy. If it is integrated into the power of true energy, the power of true energy will also double. Stacked up, the destructive power that erupts is quite terrible. 180,000 pounds or even 200,000 pounds of terrorist force, once erupted, I was afraid that a mountain peak would be crushed to pieces on the spot. Turn into powder. This is already a force that completely transcends the level of Shanghai. In particular, with the increase of self-cultivation, the town prison seal will continue to transform into long. The town prison seal magic power exists in the black tripod. The black tripod is like a life trick. The town prison seal is the supernatural power born from it. The vigorous blood will continue to train the town prison seal, so that the strength of the town prison seal continues to skyrocket. This kind of growth potential is almost endless. It will become stronger with its own strength. It's like now, you can see it on the town jail. There was a tiny star flickering. This star seems to be the source of supernatural power, exuding an ancient and vast atmosphere. If an additional star is added to the town jail seal, the power of the town jail seal will increase by 2 times. The strength of 90,000 kilograms can be turned into a terrorist force of 270,000 kilograms. This transformation, as long as the origin of itself is stronger, the speed will be faster. The physical supernatural power is a supernatural power that will follow its own strength and become stronger, and will never lag behind. This is also related to its own strength. The physical supernatural power can absorb qi and blood, absorb qi, and transform the world and the vitality. In this process, naturally, the stronger the strength, the faster the transformation speed. Okay, the stamp of the prison, the physical power, which is enough to be another card of MYS. As long as it has not been exposed, no one will know what magic power I have bred. The suppression of the first seal will make the asterisk 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 shake. Quote, Yi Tianxing secretly rejoiced. For him, the more cards he has, the better. Now hiding but not revealing, once it is revealed, it can play a role in setting the situation and reversing everything. Since becoming the master of Xuanwang Town, it has always been spared no effort to increase the whole cards for himself. The less it is revealed, the more inscrutable and intangible it is. Make life fearful. Do not dare to act lightly. Even if you do, you don't know your whole cards. Only when the whole cards are strong enough can Xuanwang Town survive the troubled times. Keep growing. Only with the whole cards in hand will the enemy not be targeted. This is more important than anything. When the magical powers have been conceived, it should still be able to absorb the power of thunder. Maybe it will allow the Junian seal to complete a transformation. A secret thought came into my heart. With his ability, it is not difficult to cross the Thunder Dragon Road, but his speed has not been fast. He is determined to devour the power of thunder here to help himself become stronger. Why do I feel that Yidao's friendship has suddenly become stronger again? It seems that something has changed and become a little different. Yi Ziqiu took a subconscious look at Yi Tianxing, not knowing why. At this point, he seemed to see the towering mountains cannot be climbed. That feeling is unprecedented. It has become stronger again. It is incredible. Brother Yi is really not an ordinary person. In the face of thousands of thunders in Thunder Dragon Road, they can walk quietly and become stronger. Silent monk, I have always wanted to kill the alien, the ferocious beast, want to win a place for human beings. Maybe Yi brothers can bring a happy land to the human race from outside attacks. Quote. Looking at Yi Tianxing's back, the flower monk secretly thought in his heart. Obviously, this point, Yi Tianxing is now doing more than most people. I don't know how many people are still building villages. After struggling in troubled times, he has already been promoted to town. It even began to affect nearby villages, giving help to other villages and becoming stronger together. This kind of mind is beyond most people. Rumble. The thunder continued to fall, but entered the body, was suppressed by He Ding again, was drawn into the tripod, and was absorbed by the town's seal. All the thunder gathered in the gold town's seal, and the origin of the town's seal became stronger, a mysterious golden road pattern inscribed on the ancient seal. Go all the way, thunder all the way. As he was about to step out of Thunder Dragon Road and set foot on a new mountain platform, the town jail seal in the black tripod suddenly burst into a layer of richer gold, and countless golden rhymes converged to form a golden star, engraved on the ancient seal. Compete with the original stars to radiate bright light. This time, the town's prison seal can reach a twofold increase, and a terror force of 270,000 kilograms erupted instantly. Strength has increased again. However, this time, it has also reached the end of Thunder Dragon Road. When stepping out of the Thunder Dragon Road, the flower monk and Yi Ziqiu had already subconsciously exhaled a long breath, exposing the color of Sai. I finally walked out of the Thunder Dragon Road. If I go on like this, I feel that my hair will be completely ashes under the thunder. I don't want to become a monk, I am a priest. If I become a monk, the predecessor of Daomen should not arrest me like the sky. Quote. Yi Ziqiu felt a burning scent from her hair. The vital energy in the body is almost consumed. The body suffered great damage under thunder. As soon as he left Thunder Dragon Road, his entire body was paralyzed to the ground. Feeling the entire body hollowed out. So terrible Thunder Dragon Road, if most of the thunder were not attracted by Brother Yi, I'm afraid we would die under the thunder at all. Flower monk nodded and said. I know that with my own strength, it is impossible to come out of Thunder Dragon Road. Xuanzhen Temple, what is this place? Yi Tianxing looked up and looked forward. A huge palace had stood on this platform. The palace is cast from various precious materials. Carving dragons and painting phoenixes exudes the breath of time. It seems that it is definitely not inferior to the palace in the palace. The resources consumed must be enormous. Even incalculable levels. I don't know, but looking at the scale of this palace is not small, there must be some treasures in it. If it can be obtained, it will be a great harvest. Yi Zhichu's face showed expectations. The most direct purpose of entering the tomb is to get all kinds of exotic treasures. Use it to improve your own cultivation as strength. Look, those scorpion people have entered that platform and entered Kowloon Road. They chose the poisonous dragon road. The flower monk glanced back and immediately saw that the scorpion people also came across the iron cable. Appears outside Kowloon Road. However, after knowing the difference between Kowloon Road, these scorpion people. After a hesitant meal, he chose the drug dragon road. That road was full of toxic rain fell from the sky. It swept down and fell on the body, instantly corroding flesh and blood, killed on the spot, very overbearing and brutal, and we can see that on the poisonous dragon road, almost no monk dared to step up. Facing the poison, the fear in my heart will not be inferior to the thunder. But the scorpion people did not hesitate to choose the dragon road. Stepping on the poisonous dragon road, a layer of dark mist emerged from the body of a famous scorpion, covering the body. The dark poisonous rain fell on that layer of mist and made a strange noise. Some scorpionmen broke their defenses on the spot and fell on their bodies. The armors outside were eroded. However, these scorpionmen's defensive power against poison was obviously extraordinary. Even if you are bathed in poisonous rain, you can walk forward quickly. Only those with low strength were corroded by poisonous rain. Screaming, the body turned into a pool of dark poisonous water. Not many scorpions died under the poisonous rain. But even if it wasn't dead, a hint of black appeared on his face. Being resistant to poison does not mean that you are not afraid of poison. A continuous stream of poisonous rain swept through, and the poisonous power brought by it also caused a famous scorpion to start poisoning. The scorpion itself is one of the 5 poisons. The scorpion tail behind it is highly toxic, which can be fatal. It is extremely immune to the poison. Although there will be some losses, there must be a large number of scorpion people. Palace. It is wise to choose Poison Dragon Road, www.novelhall.com. Seeing Yi Tianxing, his eyes were calm and he said slowly. Not only a scorpion, look at it. What a giant, is this body a stone? This body, I am afraid that it is no less than 7 or 8 meters high. It is the same as a hill. He is walking on Wanglong Road. The road is full of with strong gravity. Quote. Yi Ziqiu suddenly opened her eyes and looked at another road. I only saw a giant with a huge stone stick carrying a huge stone stick. He entered the Wanglong Road with such a big swing. The strong gravity did not seem to have much influence on the stone giant. Stride forward. The strength, the tenacity of the body, are extremely horrible. When you step on the ground, you can hear a dull roar from the ground. I can't imagine how amazing the power inside him is. This immortal tomb has attracted more than just humans, not just scorpions, but other terrible alien powerhouses. Chapter 279, Shushan Elderly. For subscription recommendations, come with tickets. Close black lens bracket. Let's go and see Xuanzhen Temple. Other aliens have come in. Sooner or later there will be opportunities for confrontation. Now let's see what treasures we can find here. Yi Tianxing looked back and stepped decisively towards Xuanzhen Temple. Past. Even Thunder Dragon Road has passed, and now is the time for harvest. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know what baby I can get in it. When he heard that he was about to go for a treasure hunt, Yi Ziqiu suddenly became energetic, and his whole face was inspiring. The flaccid body on the ground had strength at once, and stood up without hesitation. It's a big palace, the same palace that the former emperor lived in. The flower monk nodded and looked at the Xuanzhen Temple in front of him, exclaiming. There is no ban on this Xuanzhen Temple. But a gate stood in front of him. This gate is very heavy. The flower monk voluntarily stepped forward, and he deserved to be born with divine power. His energy poured out, and the whole door made a jerky sound and was pushed away a little. After pushing away, there is a huge space in front of you, with a wide field of vision, and you can see that a hall appears in front of you. Inside are bookshelves that stand up, and on the bookshelves, there are rolls of bamboo slips. This Xuanzhen Temple turned out to be a place to collect books and scrolls. This is a Tibetan scripture hall. This time we have developed. I don't know how many books are stored in such a large Xuanzhen Temple. It is rumored that the king of Huainan gathered thousands of alchemists, in order to study the way of longevity, collect various Taoist classics, yin-yang classics, build mausoleums, and certainly collect a lot of feng shui books. These things are simply priceless treasures. Quote. Yi Ziqiu went in with a probe and saw the picture in front of her eyes. A strong excitement flashed in her eyes, her mouth widened and it was difficult to close. The most important thing is that the king of Huainan seeks immortality and is the way to become immortal. Of the collected classics, most of them are Taoist classics, even hundreds of classics, which are related to these things. These things may not have been in the past, but in the chaotic world of great destruction now, the preciousness of classics is absolutely inestimable. Any one of them is the crystallization of the wisdom of the sages of the human race. Bamboo slips. This is the oldest book. The characters inside should be carved with a carving knife, and then rendered with ink. The handwriting is all 3 points into the wood. Generally speaking, as long as the bamboo slips are not destroyed, the text in them will last. However, for a bamboo slip, there may be a need to use a card of bamboo slips. Therefore, in ancient times, others were described as talented. They are all described as learning rich 5 cars. The 5 car books here are about this bamboo slip. Of course, there are more than bamboo slips here. There are also a large number of animal skins and brocades used as paper to record text in books. At this point, it was absolutely unimaginable at the time, consuming huge resources. It's even amazing. So many books. How many ancient books did the king of Huainan collect? No wonder it was heard in the legend that after the king of Huainan fled to Immortal, even the houses he lived in followed. Knowing why the various treasures he collected before disappeared, I thought it was taken away by ascension, and now it seems that it should be brought into the tomb. Quote. The flower monk said in amazement. The ancients always had a kind of respect for the knowledge of books. Many people think that books are more important than fate. In ancient times, they had to read books. They even had to borrow and steal. Someone took the time to record the books they had read and kept them as heirlooms. I can hold a book hungry and read for several years, and hold it in my arms at night when I sleep. It is not too much to forget to eat or sleep. The knowledge of those books is too precious. It is not easy to be passed down. All the books in such a hall now appear in front of them, and the shock is really too strong. Well, this is the biggest and most precious treasure, the real priceless treasure. Yi Tianxing saw that there was a burst of enthusiasm in his heart. Such a huge amount of classics is really incredible. The classics in it were carefully collected by the King of Huainan. Based on the status and strength of the King of Huainan at that time, the books collected must be the books of the Spring and Autumn and Warring States periods and even the pre-Qin period. Such classics have been largely lost in later generations, disappearing in the long river of history. That is the wisdom of the ancients. Especially during the Spring and Autumn period, 100 schools of thought quarreled. At that time, the spark of wisdom from the sages of the human race was enough to meet the development history of human history for thousands of years. The classics and knowledge at that time were even more valuable. At that time, the Mohist could create machine birds that could fly, and machine beasts that could fight and kill. Powerful institution city. The farmhouse can make the rice mature shorter. Doctors can see the diseases in the human body at a glance. The soldiers were able to make plans and win thousands of miles. Various doctrines emerge endlessly. All kinds of skills have been marveled at for thousands of years, and feel the magic. And this knowledge may exist in this hall. These thoughts appeared in my mind. Even if it was Yi Tianxing, it was difficult to control myself, and I could not help but develop various ideas. Take it all away and put it all in the Tibetan Classic Pavilion. This is a true priceless treasure. It can no longer be measured by value or money. As long as it can be put into the Tibetan Classic Pavilion, the knowledge transfer of Xuanwang Town will be passed down. It will surely become stronger. The name of the Tibetan Scripture Hall is truly worthy. It has unimaginable benefits for the development of the town. Quote, an idea instantly took root in my mind, sprouted, and was indelible. Seeing these things is more exciting and important than seeing any exotic treasures. 100 questions of Mohist organs, this is the classics of Mohist. There are even here. Quote, Yi Ziqiu stepped forward and picked up a bamboo slip directly from a bookshelf. The text on the bamboo slips came directly into my eyes. And here, Emerald Rice Cultivation Notes. This is the classic book of the farmer. Emerald rice, what kind of rice is it? Is it a special kind of rice? How has it never been heard before, or is it cultivated? Not ordinary, everyone knows. The news is blocked. Quote, the flower monk also picked up a bamboo slip and muttered to himself. The basic medicine classic. Yi Tianxing also picked up a bamboo slip, which was a medicine classic. What's recorded in it are the efficacy, purpose, identification, picking, etc. of various herbs and elixir. These are the crystallization of wisdom left by predecessors. Record your own experience. It looks nothing but the value is equally amazing. Ziyang Danjing, this is a note on alchemy. An ancient book recorded in animal skins is presented. Such a sutra is an alchemist's perception and understanding of alchemy. There is even a danfang with various elixir in it, which is quite precious. An elixir is to be formed after thousands of trials and failures, and is ultimately created. The value is not changeable. Not to mention, it also contains various experiences and notes about alchemy. Preciousness is even higher. The Analects of Confucius, Zuo Chuan Zuo Zhuan, Han Fei Zi. These works are even here. Quote, Yi Ziqiu picked up several bamboo slips one after another, his face exclaimed with surprise, and said quickly. The collection of books here is extremely rich. It was not difficult to collect these books under the status of the King of Huainan at the time. Besides, the royal family also had a book library. Manuscripts are also available. It is not difficult to understand the richness of the collection. Quote, taking a deep breath, Yi Tianxing has made a decision to remove all the books here and put them all in the Tibetan pavilion. Becoming a collection of books, to the greatest extent enrich Xuanwangjin's heritage. Not to mention, as long as the news spreads, it will definitely attract the interest of countless readers. There is an inherent advantage in attracting talent. The collection of books here is really rich. Uninvited, it's for the thief. Do you want to be a book thief? At this moment, I only saw that in the hall, a white-haired old man in a Confucian robe abruptly came out from behind a bookshelf, holding a roll of bamboo slips in his hands. Looking at the three people in Yi Tianxing, he said calmly. But in that discourse, there was a power to attack the soul. Opening his mouth, Hao Ran was full of righteousness. People unconsciously give birth to an illusion of shame in their hearts and dare not face up to it. As if in momentum, he was constrained one by one and felt wrong. The momentum was frustrated. This is the power of Confucianism. How Ran swept righteously, making people feel invisible pressure involuntarily. Yi Ziqiu and the flower monk felt like they were doing something wrong. The momentum was frustrated. Even the old man who looked directly in front of him felt a little dare. It seemed to be hot on his face, as if he came back from the owner when stealing. Already. Even Yi Tianxing secretly condensed. www.novelhall.com. Fortunately, this power had no way to affect him, and as soon as he appeared in the mind, he was immediately broken by a dragon yin that broke out in his body. Vanished. Confucianism and Taoism are best at raising Hao Ran's righteousness. Cultivate righteousness with talent. Righteousness. It's so pure and upright, and it's so profound. Confucianism and Taoism. Dare to ask the seniors who they are. Yi Tianxing took a deep breath and felt vaguely that the white-haired old man in front of him was definitely a powerful Confucian monk. It was difficult to estimate the specific realm, but only by perception, he could know his body. The breath is like the ocean, unfathomable. The uprightness in the body is no small matter. Appearing here is obviously not a simple existence. I came from the book. But I am called the elderly of Shushan. The white-haired old man glanced at Yi Tianxing, and when he found that Yi Tianxing was not affected by him, a strangeness appeared in his eyes, and he said calmly, "You guys, but intend to move the collection here." Chapter 280, Too Greedy. Find a monthly pass. Close black lens bracket. Elderly Shushan said at the end that his tone was already quite severe. That momentum made Yi Ziqiu and the flower monk feel asphyxiated and unable to breathe. Can't help but want to retreat and leave the hall. There is no face standing here. Yes, I'm going to pick up the books. Yi Tianxing hasn't changed, his face is still calm, he said without concealment. I came in for the collection here, and the collection is a treasure. This point can't be hidden from others, and there is no need to hide it. Facing the clear and deep sea-like eyes of the elderly in Shushan. It is definitely not easy to lie in front of him. Facing such an old Confucian, it is best to choose a straightforward approach. The elderly Shushan heard that there was a flash of praise in his eyes, and then he disappeared. Calmly said, "Very well, you didn't lie. As a reward, I can let you choose 3 ancient books in this Xuanzhen temple and take them at will. As for both of them, you can't take one." Later, his eyes fell sternly on Yi Ziqiu and the flower monk. A person must have the courage to dare to act. If you don't even have the courage to admit it, you don't deserve more. It's not just courage, it is a test of facing the heart of oneself. I don't even have the courage to face my heart, how can I climb higher peaks in the world? Become a true powerhouse. Yi Ziqiu and the flower monk heard that their faces changed, and their minds were constantly rolling like torrents and tsunami, and various thoughts were constantly colliding. 3 ancient books. When Yi Tianxing heard it, he shook his head slightly and said, "I am very greedy. I want all the ancient books in the Xuanzhen temple. I don't know if there is a way for me to take all the ancient books. These books, staying here is a blasphemy against the sages. It should be taken out to benefit more humankind and contribute to the development of human race." Quote. In his voice, he did not hide his idea of wanting to get all the classics in the entire Xuanzhen temple. He was very greedy, and he would never hide his greed for these ancient books. These books are too big for Xuanwang Town's future, so big that he has given birth to the idea that all ancient books must be taken away. Once successful, the entire scripture pavilion can truly become one of the top scripture pavilions in the entire eternal continent. This temptation is really too great. You know how many ancient books are here. The elderly Shushan heard, frowned slightly, looked at Yi Tianxing, and sneered. There are 305 sages in the Book of Songs, 20 Analects, Mencius, Lizi, and 89 South China classics. 33 inches Warring States Policy. 43 inches Luban Remnants. Various scriptures 134,745. Strategies, Shu Jing, 658. There are also classics, 1032, and Huainanzi, written by King Huainan. The Benden Sutra, named Huainan Sutra, is one of the most precious ancient sutras in Xuanzhen Temple. You are planning to take it all away, young people, you know, being too greedy is not a good thing. Quote. The elderly in Shushan looked at Yi Tianxing calmly. The amount of various classics contained in this Xuanzhen hall is very amazing, and what he just said is just a part of it. Inside, almost all the classics collected by the Huainan king at that time were gathered. Some of them are changes in the process of the eternal continent's integration of all realms, and they have already belonged to the eternal continent rules that are most suitable for eternal continent rules. Can be cultivated. Even exercises that could not be practiced before can now be practiced. Metamorphosis. The old stumps have become valuable now. Here, picking a book is a great opportunity. Yi Tianxing even greedily wanted to take everything away, which was simply too greedy. So greedy, it should be struck by thunder. I was a little displeased with Yi Tianxing. People are greedy, they have desires, and they have desires, so that the entire civilization can develop and progress. Yi Tianxing said indifferently, a fish has a desire and wants to escape from the sea and fly to the sky. Therefore, a fish turns into a dapeng, soars in the sky and becomes a peng, and a person has a desire and wants to fly in the sky. Lubin created an organ bird that can fly in the sky. People have desire and hope to fight with beasts and monsters, so they watch the natural evolution of the heavens and the world, create the practice of cultivation, and become a monk. Life has evolved and transformed. Money has a desire to promote business development. People want to eat better. They want to cultivate a variety of vegetables and rice. Quote, "You mean, there is nothing wrong with greed, there is nothing wrong with desire. If everyone is greedy and hope runs rampant, then the entire world, all order will collapse, and human civilization will be destroyed once." Elderly Shushan replied politely. He dared not imagine what everyone would be greedy and dominated by desire. That is absolutely horrible. The order of the whole world will collapse, and that will become ***** on Earth. I'm not saying that greed, desire needs to be completely released. The reason why people are human is because humans have imposed a yoke on themselves in the first place. Yi Tianxing shook his head and said, this shackle is called morality. Morality is shackles. It binds people's own desires. Before doing anything, they will consider whether they violate moral standards in their hearts. Those who are not moral are demons. They have morals. People, even if they are occasionally dominated by desires, can be justified. There are many kinds of desires, and they need to look at their own position and purpose. Good desires, naturally need to be retained, and bad desires need to be moral. Shackled by shackles. Quote, myth. You mean that your desire to occupy all the ancient books in Xuanzhen Temple is good? The elderly Shushan heard, frowning slightly. Maybe my desire is not good for others, all I can see is greed, but for my Xuanwang town, for the tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands of people under my control, it is a great joy. Can bring the most direct change. It will allow me to grow faster, make Xuanwang town stronger, and expand faster. It will be able to bless more human beings. For me, what kind of desire is released? Quote, a flash of firmness flashed in Yi Tianxing's eyes. This is his belief. My duty, the mission of birth, is to protect these books. If you take all these ancient books away, then I don't need to exist. You are planning to kill me. You want to get these ancient books, there is only one way, that is to defeat me and kill me. Otherwise, just go out for me. Quote, the old man in Shushan blew his beard, a flash of indifference flashed in his eyes, and said, then try again. There was a hint of war in Yi Tianxing's eyes, and he said flatly, as soon as the voice fell, without hesitation, take a step forward. This step fell on the ground of the hall. The whole ground was roaring and trembling violently. It seemed that even a crack had to be stepped on the ground. One palm hit the old man at Shushan. With this palm, you can see that there is golden light flowing. The majestic blood tumbling rolled like a gate dragon elephant, past the breath of oppression like a mountain. With his strength, if this palm was hit, a towering ancient tree would be torn apart. Young people are really unfriendly. Don't damage these precious ancient books when you start here. The old man at Shushan saw a slight frown, and he immediately saw that all the books in the entire Xuanzhen temple showed no sign. A moment disappeared. What I saw before was like a bubble, it didn't exist at all. Sure enough, I said before that how I felt about the scroll I was holding, and the content I saw was a little fuzzy. It should not be true. Yi Tianxing saw, a thought flashed in his mind. However, the action in his hand did not stop at all, and he still furiously hit the old man in Shushan. Rather stubborn, the old man in Shushan shook his head slightly and spit out 4 words. Brush. As the voice fell, I immediately saw a spear shot from Shushan's old man's lips. It was a snow-white ancient gun, and when it appeared, it was like a sharp flying spear, with a strong and mighty righteousness, and went straight to the palm hole that Yi Tianxing took. To pierce his hand directly, pierce a hole. Confucianism and Taoism lip guns. This white spear is a lip gun magical power. The stronger your Confucianism and Taoism are, the stronger the destructive power that erupts, and the stronger the righteousness of perfusion, the greater the power. At this moment, in the spear, there is a huge spirit of righteousness. The sharpness of the lip gun seems to pierce the void. Through space, the emanating radiance, even when Yi Ziqiu and the flower monk stood beside them, felt a sting from the skin. It's as if don't stare at the poisonous snake, it will instantly take away your life. Boom, palms and lip guns bombarded together. Yi Tianxing did not budge. The palm of the hand was slammed on the tip of the lip gun so firmly. The picture that the palm was completely penetrated by the long gun did not appear. A majestic burst of chi and blood burst out of his hands. Bombed on a lip gun. The lip gun trembled violently, www.novelhall.com, the light shining on it. Hao ran as righteous and arrogant, and immense. A horrifying aftermath turned the backs of Yi Zhichu's rejection back. The body retreated involuntarily. In the light of God, we can see it. On the palm of Yi Tianxing, a muzzle appeared, a trace of blood leaked out, but the wound quickly recovered and healed under the action of powerful blood. Abate the magical power of the wound. The lip gun was also shot out by a huge shot, and the light was dim. Then disappeared. The realm of life and consciousness is cultivated. Yi Tianxing looked at the old man of Shushan. After a collision, he already felt the strength of the old man. Absolutely transcends the level of the Shanhai realm. It is the real Confucian school of learning. Extremely pure. The destructive power of Mingqiao magical power has completely transcended Shanhai.